Welcome to episode 10. We're excited about this one. We're going to talk about AI. We also talk about the Columbus man and the scary red SUV person that keeps hitting and running multiple people. Then we're also going to talk about companies and being honest. Yeah, do they care about us? So Tristan's sick. It's a great episode. It goes a little long. Stick with us. It's going to be a fun one. So thank you. Welcome. Let's go.
Hey, have a good day.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to TRIFLIX Cast. We are videographers and photographers talking about the latest techniques, business practices, and tech with a bit of fun sprinkled in. It's going to be a doozy, folks, so buckle in. To my right, I've got a man, and this man's name is Awesome. That's Tristan Watkins. He doesn't do much around here.
It's all right. You don't have to try it. No, it's okay.
Okay.
And then to my left,
you guys going without me.
It's the new owner of TRIFLIX.
Does this new owner have a name?
Tristan Watkins.
Awesome. There you go. AKA
Also David Baker.
That's what AKA means, but
I thought you were
also known as.
Yeah.
And then you said also. You doubled up. You tripled down.
FKNA.
Also.
Okay. And I'm Robert.
He is Robert.
No. That's my first
and
name.
this is a podcast.
This is a podcast. Yes, somehow I produce it. And then somehow the three of us, we run a media company called TRIFLIX, based out of Columbus, Indiana.
No one else, just us three.
Welcome to the best podcast in the best city on the best planet in the universe.
We have other people, and I'm sick, and somehow I'm still here. Where's everyone else?
I don't
Where's
know, man.
Kat? Where's Daniel?
I asked you if we needed to switch out today, and you're like, "No, man, I got it."
I know. I just figured more.
But I kind of wanted you today
here
because we have a good topic today.
Oh wow! I bet we just had an opener that told us what it was about. I can't wait to find out. We do record those.
I really
afterwards.
enjoyed
those
that
are
funny joke that Tristan had in that opener. It was just a really funny joke.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was great.
Too bad we had to
be
bleep
rolling.
it. Do you have any news stories today, sir?
I do have a news story today.
Oh boy, look at me segueing.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
The more sick and like sad he gets, like the better he is at running a podcast.
I doubt that.
Achoo.
Sincerely. There's not. I'm still trying to figure out how he gets better at things. But anyways, we've got news.
I'm just digressing.
Yes. So we have news. It's local news. Have you heard about the hit and runs that have been happening?
Can we give him a fun little nickname?
Well, for whatever reason, the links that people have been sharing is from a page called Columbus Man.
Oh.
So maybe think of Florida Man.
Yeah.
So I figured it's our Columbus Man.
Have you ever heard of Columbus Man before? Is this new to you?
It's new to me.
Okay, so that's like it's been around since I was a youngin'. It's like since Facebook kind of started as like a guy people can submit anonymously to, and that account's ran by multiple people. I knew one of the managers at a point, but I don't know if he's still in there. And it's just an account where people submit anonymously to, and you can distribute local regional news. Sometimes it's very biased, and sometimes it's pretty kind of wild, and I think today's wild.
Well, the funny thing about this, so there's been some the funny thing is not what's happening, just a heads up, but
I love crime.
What I kept hearing was and Tristan and I were talking about it, and it was like, oh, there's this red SUV that keeps doing hit and runs and has road rage and is like shooting at people and stuff. Whoa. And this like keeps happening, and they're posting pictures of these cars that like it's hit and runs. And so the minute I saw it, I almost text Tristan because I was like, are you the man in the red SUV? Because he drives a red SUV.
Is it you? I've been so tired lately. I had to like think about it real hard, and I was like, have I
Have I done
like that? I don't think I have.
Nah.
I think it was someone else.
But yeah, there's actually there's literally a
He like shot a dude's nose off.
there will be a reward.
Not like the whole
Whoa.
nose, like just like a portion of the nose.
This says there will be a reward to anyone who finds any information.
You know, I'm a skeptic at heart. I'm just curious if like somebody got like, you know, you drinky, you drivey, you go off a road
No one
and you're
does
just
that.
like, you call in and you're just like, hey, it was the red SUV. Like, is this going to become an urban legend like years from now, even after this guy gets caught?
The red SUV.
The red SUV strikes again.
Or it's like Eric Andre skits. And like in all the surrounding bystanders are just not in on the skit, and they think there's a hit and run vehicle happening, and it's just a stunt being done for a TV show over and over.
Yeah, they just have no idea. I don't know. I hope nobody's been. I don't know if there's been any fatalities. I hope not.
I like this question.
I have not heard of this until now.
Just a question. So trolls back off. Could this be some kind of gang initiation?
But you have to drive a red SUV into people.
It's the red. It's
It
the
has to be the red SUV.
it's the red
nothing
SUV
else.
gang.
Dude, let's call him the Red Devil.
The Red Devil.
The Red Devil.
Isn't that copyrighted by Marvel?
No, I think isn't not a team out of like Arizona or something, the Red Devils?
My
Buy the
gosh.
trademark.
I don't know. Google. Where's the Red Devil?
Oh,
Where's
there's a
the
crashed
devil?
red SUV sitting in Elizabethtown playground. Has been there for 3 days.
Ooh.
That's insane, dude. I do 11 over the speed limit, and there's cops over me. But you got some fruitcake out here in a derby, and there's no popo anywhere. People.
That's written by someone from the area.
I love comments.
That's
It's just, and it's
Wow.
even funnier when you know these people live in close proximity to you.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry if there was a fatality or something and we're making light of it, but as of the time we're making jokes,
I don't.
I haven't seen anything like that. So
Yeah,
see
I haven't.
that.
I have even heard gunshots.
Do you normally hear all the gunshots that happen in Columbus?
you live in a safe neighborhood. Pickle Park.
Does he really live there?
That's some more local information
I
for
saw a post on Reddit today. I'm subscribed to
We have a pickle park.
the Columbus, Indiana subreddit. And like people post random things there all the time. And some guy posted, "Hey, come hang out on California Street. I'm really bored."
That's really funny. You know what? That's like kind of genuinely like heartwarming. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume this person was over 18. I hope.
I don't know.
Okay.
To make a Reddit account, you have to be like 18. I'm pretty sure, but you know,
Yeah. No,
Facebook had a 15 age limit, and that never worked.
So what are we? Are we like a regional podcast now? What are we doing?
What do you mean?
Is this like our thing?
Podcast of
We're the Columbus
Indiana.
We're the best podcast in Columbus, Indiana.
We're here for the Columbus man.
Yeah, I figured why
News
not,
articles.
right? So I did scroll down and I found the road rage shooting one,
Yeah.
and the guy was grazed by a bullet with no serious injuries.
I thought he lost the tip of his nose or something.
Somebody was died. What?
I thought like the gun like actually like went off and the dude like is in like the hospital like tips of his nose getting back on or something.
What? I don't know, man. It doesn't say any of that. Doesn't
Now
say
we're a
any of that.
Gossip network. Nah, man.
Yeah, dude. Next thing you know, we're gonna be the Onion.
We're the
Yeah,
we're TNN,
scallions.
TRIFLIX News Network.
Dude, we would lose a lot
That'd be
of
funny.
a lot of local.
If we were doing
connections.
local gossip.
Yeah. Well,
You know
that
what
was
I
like.
heard?
You guys remember Job Media? They used to do like local
don't
news
remember
stuff.
that.
They were the local people. I think we should do it, but just onion everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been watching College
That'd be
Humor.
pretty funny.
College Humor has a bit where people write fake news scripts for their hosts, and like they act like they're news anchors, and they just have to read whatever comes up on the teleprompter.
Ooh.
And like every time they break while reading it, that's like a negative. Like they lose a point. And so who doesn't break the most during the reading wins.
Do you think we could get some AI generated stories? Because weren't we doing that? What were we using Dolly? What were we using for the AI stories?
It was called
like-
Open AI.
Yeah, I was like, it was
OpenAI.
just open beta.
Yeah.
Beta.
Can we like We tested that out for like news stories at one point. We were just messing around.
They released a new version of it recently.
Yeah, but isn't OpenAI, aren't they the ones that own Stable Diffusion?
Dolly. They also do Dolly.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Dude, I'm just
They're doing all of the stuff.
I think it would be really
Skynet.
cool if like, you know.
You got to pay for it all too.
Oh, is it paid again? I thought we were.
Well, you get like free credits, but then you use so much.
Dude, that would be funny to write some news articles and just make them all Columbus centric. Just have a little a nutty network going on.
I know. I need to go back and read some of that stuff because it was really funny.
No, they just recently. So the same people who do Dolly, they were the same people who also did the text generation. They just make up news stories based on a prompt or whatever you tell it to make. They made a new version, like an update to it, and it's supposed to be even better. So like
it was already a load of fun.
Like if you like tell it to write like give me the top 3 like sandwiches, it'll like find like very specific like really interesting like sandwiches and like write about them instead of just like boring sentences about.
I don't know, man.
It's getting crazy. It's getting really good.
Remember there was one that we did. It was a Nicolas Cage Olive Garden commercial, action commercial. That one was funny.
Did we keep it? Here, let me try to look it up. I think we might have kept it.
While you're doing that,
and I don't think you're going to be able to read that out loud. It's pretty wild.
I don't know about that. We can.
You might give it a proof.
You can censor yourself. While you're looking for that, I'm going to read a sponsor segment.
Okay.
You know what I love around this time of year?
Milkshakes.
I love it now. I love a good warm cup of coffee. And I know a place that's pretty awesome for that.
Where?
Coffee House 5.
No way.
Yeah, dude. It's great. Listen to this, okay?
Okay.
With locations in Franklin and Greenwood and soon a third in Bargersville, which I would expect
so soon.
I heard December, so like we're almost there. It's exciting. Well, we're there when you're listening to this. It's exciting. Coffee House 5 is Johnson County's premier independent coffee shop to relax, study, or meet friends around great coffee, great food, Monday through Saturday. Whether it's a handcrafted espresso or a single origin pour over, you'll enjoy the freshest, smoothest coffee possible, roasted in-house at their Franklin location using a unique airbed roasting process. Want to learn more about that? Go to their website.
Okay.
We filmed that video. It's pretty awesome. And don't forget to pair your coffee with a ham and cheddar scone, biscuits and gravy made with their award-winning Parmesan chive biscuit, or any of their other pastries and sandwiches prepared at their Franklin kitchen using family recipes and a style they call Midwest comfort food. As if that was not enough to get your attention, though, folks, Coffee House 5 is a for-benefit coffee house, which means all the profits are invested in building a stronger community through their support of local mental health services, which you can read more about on their website, coffeehouse5.com, F-I-V-E. So the next time you're in Franklin or Greenwood, and, like I said, soon Bargersville, stop by the Coffee House 5.
What if I'm not from Johnson County?
If you're not from Johnson County, sir,
can I go?
You have a vehicle.
You can come to Johnson County.
That's really cool that they'll just let anybody come in.
I know, right?
Yeah, they don't check the IDs or anything.
They do not.
You got out-of-state plates. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What?
I don't want your Philadelphia money.
Michelle just starts Bill Burr roasting Philly.
Just talks crap about any place you are that isn't.
I would
That'd
love
be fantastic.
it.
I would sit there and wait for people to come
Michelle,
in from out of state.
Can we do a commercial where it's like everyone's welcome, but in your commercial you explicitly point out like one area. You're like, we don't want you if you're from Philly.
Yeah.
No Philly.
Yeah, it's like the places where like they have like the boards of like people have come from all over the world. Like, and if it's just not where it is, like all the lights just turn on the person. They just get friggin' roasted. For like 30 seconds
absolutely
straight.
No.
Go away.
Dude, that'd be such a fun like there's just like happy bubbly music and they're like unless you're from like some rage music or something. I don't know.
We could do that. We'll make a video for you.
You know,
except if you're from
put it on the hot seat.
Dude, that's
Arizona.
Yeah, you gotta lay that sarcasm on thick. Some people are a little too dense for the light.
That's true.
You know, it's like making a sandwich. Sometimes you need a little extra sauce for people to taste it. Some people don't have the fine palates.
Refined palates.
Palette.
Did you find it?
I did find it.
Okay, so
Share your refined palate.
The awesome thing is today we're actually talking about AI generated things. So kick us off with a good script. Now, do you have the prompt?
I have the prompt.
Okay, give me the prompt first.
So all we did is we gave it the prompt. So we just typed in, write a TV commercial that is very violent for Olive Garden, starring Nicolas Cage.
I love
that is
it.
the only thing we typed into our computer. And it gave us this. Welcome to Olive Garden. Oh, welcome to Olive Garden. Our never-ending pasta bowl is only $7.99, and our breadsticks are free. But that's not all. We also have a special offer for you. If you order our breadsticks, we'll let you beat up one of our waiters. Star. That's right. For a limited time, you can take out your aggression on one of our poor, helpless waiters. Just let us know when you're ready, and we'll bring out your victim. And if you're feeling really violent, you can order our unlimited breadsticks option and beat up as many waiters as you want. Star. So come down to Olive Garden and let us help you work out your anger issues. We'll be waiting. Star. Actual violence not guaranteed. Star. Some restrictions may apply.
Wait, where's no Nicolas Cage? And the breadsticks were already free, but if you got unlimited breadsticks, it was no additional fee. You just get extra breadsticks.
Well, see, the problem is like Nicolas Cage would have to be the one reading
He would
it.
have to be narrating.
Yeah.
And I can't do Nicolas Cage
Oh,
impression.
but we can now.
Yes.
Can we?
Well,
No, we can.
Star. Restrictions may apply. Do you want to talk about what you discovered, Tristan?
Yeah, there's a video that I don't know when it's coming out or if it'll ever come out. Basically, this past week, Cole was out of town on vacation, and I was in charge of everything. And one of those things was
everything.
Thanksgiving week. We usually try to do a holiday video. Last time you did the Halloween video. It looked awesome, very cinematic, very impressive. This most recent time was Thanksgiving. I was like, I want to do something fun because we have a deadline, and I never hit deadlines. You know, asterisk.
Never.
That's another little star at the top.
Star.
I do when I have to, but this is, it's Thanksgiving, man. It's time to be with the family. You spend a little extra time with the family. But I came in and Daniel and I shot a video of everyone saying what they're thankful for. And Cole wasn't in the office, and unfortunately, I told everyone to submit videos if they were remote, except for Cole. I told him don't submit anything, and I don't remember saying that, but apparently that was very important to the story.
Yeah, you did not.
We did not have a plan B in case my plan A didn't work.
What?
Insert plan A here. I wanted to try in one day to learn how to deep fake facial recognition. As well as vocals. So to take Cole's face and sound his voice and put it in my face and voice.
Yep.
And in about a day, we had everything shot and we had all of the tests running. And we started getting all the software in place. We found all the software we needed. And that was, I think, on Wednesday. And we had to have it out by Thursday. So David came in the office and we started scanning a whole bunch of Cole's face from the podcast just to save time because he wasn't in studio and you have to have a lot of iterations. So I had so much of Cole's face. I looked at his face for at least 30 minutes of FaceTime. And we started trying to train the model based on all of his face. And it turns out 30 minutes of footage was going to take like 2 days to process. And I was like, that's too long. So David was in charge of doing the deep fake for the actual facial part. And he's like, instead of 40,000 frames, how about we do 700?
Yeah.
And it ended up training over the course of like a couple hours with a lot of trial and error. And I know there was like an actual long process of David trying to get that working.
Yeah, just trying to get it to work.
At all. And our server was having issues just trying to run a piece of software that generally is dedicated for like PCs. We were trying to run it on Windows PC, trying to get it to run on our Linux server and stuff. And I'm sure you could elaborate more on that. But if you think it's boring.
I mean,
I'm already bored. No.
I don't know.
I'm bored just thinking about it.
So part of it is like somebody assembles all of the tools that you need to make it go. And they're like, all right, you need like nails and you need hammers and like you need like the schematics and whatever to like make all this software go.
Yeah.
And some people are really bad at doing that. And like you're supposed to be able to tell it to like download like and install, and like it just builds itself up and it just supposed to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we wanted to drag and drop our footage and just hit go.
Yeah.
But we couldn't.
Which, when you're doing it with this thing called Docker, it's a bit more complicated and involved because it expects like developers be using it. So it's like advanced people software stuff. It's not a big deal. It's supposed to kind of still just
iPhone
work.
Users wouldn't handle it well.
No. So because right now with this Deep Face Lab software, it's in the between stages of like actually being usable for everyone, and just some guy hacked it together on his laptop, and it's in the middle stage where it's like it sort of works, but you have to know what's going on to fix all the random issues that showed up.
Yeah, sure.
And like there's like wrong versions of things being installed, or just stuff wasn't being installed at all.
Yeah.
It's like someone going to like the grocery store and like buying the wrong type of coffee creamer. And then you're like, dude, I can't make my coffee like this.
I mean, you could.
And it's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
It would be the wrong coffee being made.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to figure that out on your own. It's just really, it takes hours to figure out sometimes.
So, yeah, I had an idea. I wanted a video where everyone says what they're thankful for, and I wanted Cole, i.e. me, with Cole's face and voice, to say he was thankful for working with Tristan. You know, something that I don't know if we'd ever get him to say that
on recording,
obviously. And I was like, you know,
never.
There's a fun little video. It's something for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We have a time frame that we could try to test this out in, and it's a low stakes scenario. If it doesn't work out, we have a plan B. We'll just ship the video of everyone saying what they're thankful for. If it works, we have a very low quality, fast proof of concept showing that we can, with one day of never using the software, we can, one day asterisk, we can get the voice and the face track.
Yeah.
So David's working on this all Wednesday night, and he works a little bit, I think, on Thursday, and we had everything ready. He's like, here's an iteration, and it's like Cole's jank face.
His very red face plastered onto Tristan's face.
Pale face. And,
yeah.
So like,
it clearly did not work very well.
So jank. But I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed. You sent me over a mask layer, which just allowed me to like separate his face from the rest of the footage, which took me a little bit of time, but that's just VFX. That's not face tracking or anything. So I was able to take his face and throw it on mine, and it's like we're shooting at like 1080p on these cameras, so that's what we trained with. And then it was zoomed in, so it was really like 480p footage of Cole's face is what our output was. And I applied it to my face of me sitting in the podcast room in similar lighting, so it had minimal strain to try to match. And then while David was working all that logistic out for Deep Face Lab, I was working on the audio using Descript. So I tested all this out with a couple of pieces of software, and eventually Descript turned out to be the easiest use case one. And what I did was I trained, again, on Cole's audio from the podcast, and just hour-ish of audio, I think. And then I had to trim it down to 10 minutes because I had cut out all the background noise. And the model was pretty dang good. But in order to export any of it, I had to get his consent. And that's where it got tricky, because he wasn't here to offer consent. So I gave him a quick text message. I said, hey, can you read this like legal jargon that you have in order to give consent with Descript?
Like
you have to read like a small little 3-sentence paragraph saying that
super short.
I am who I say I am. I consent to this audio. So up to this point, Cole had no idea what the video was. He had no idea what it was for, but he's familiar enough with Descript or
I've done it.
AI models that we could train your voice. So he gave me the consent, and then I play it through my phone speaker into my computer because it wouldn't let me upload an audio file of him consenting.
Yes.
And the first time I went home, like while it's training and while it's trying to process and accept it, and I get an email saying that it failed because your audio from my phone playing through was too crappy compared to how good the quality was from the podcast.
Gotcha.
So the second time I come back in like 5 hours. No, it was the next day. I came back in on Thursday and I played it through my Mac speakers this time, and it just looped itself. And then it said it failed again. I was like, well, that sucks. I'm going home. I don't know what to do. I guess the video is just going to have to go out. So I sent a message to Kat. We post the video without Cole in it. Cole sends me a message. He's like, dude, what the heck? Why wasn't I in the Thanksgiving video? You said I didn't need to submit anything, and I would have if I could have been in it. Like, what the heck? And I was like, don't worry about it. AI stuff. It'll be fine. Don't worry. So the next, like in a couple hours later, I get another email saying it got approved. The model was trained. I don't know why. I don't know what was different. I never submitted. I had 2 messages for the 2 submissions, and each one said fail. And then I get a third email that I never submitted saying that it was approved. And then I was like, well, it's Thursday. It's late, but I'm going to go in. And so in the course of, really, it was like 24 hours. We had a model for a deepfake.
Yeah.
We had a model for Descript for voice within 24 hours. And I had everything edited for Cole saying he likes working at TRIFLIX right there in his seat now. And again, that's trained on 480p footage. If we go back with 4K and we let it train over a couple hours, if we get you giving consent through a good microphone and giving actual hours of audio, it's like instead of 1 day, we let this run over Christmas break and we give it, 6 days worth of time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's no reason we couldn't do more silly things like this. This was entirely proof of concept. And I want the BTS to come out on this whenever, showcasing this process, because it was really fun.
Demo the audio at least real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. I have it pulled up.
Do you have the I Love David one?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to throw you on the screen too, just so everybody can see you while we're doing it. And
the cadence and the question marks are like the punctuation is kind of difficult for the software.
Yeah. Let's see how
I
this
think it was
goes.
some audio mixing, right? Hello, my name is Cole. I'm one of the co-owners of TRIFLIX, and I absolutely love working here. Despite being married, having 3 kids now, it's one of my greatest accomplishments. Every day I get to come in and work with Tristan, the greatest partner I could ever ask for.
So initial thoughts.
So wait, so how did you, what audio, how much audio did you use of my voice to train the voice model?
10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
So the reason you hear like the cadence switching up is because I was talking in that seat and I wasn't really thinking of the cadence you generally speak.
Correct.
So whenever Descript plays, it plays in more of your cadence and how you talk. And because our patterns are different, I had to speed up and slow down the audio, but I didn't pitch shift to correct it. So that's why your voice kind of chimes up and chimes down.
Gotcha.
And why some of that audio sounds like it's either slower or faster.
So this would work really well if somebody knew how to do a great impression of Cole.
Yes.
And then just run it, a filter through it, and it just like fixes it.
Which is what we've seen by most of the deep fake videos that have come out in the past, that you still somewhat have to have the motion and kind of the idea of somebody's speaking.
Yeah, even with deep fakes, they try to choose a placeholder actor that looks like who they're trying to deep fake. So when it morphologizes their face, it looks normal.
Which was part of the bit. So part of the bit that even prompted this was actually, I think it was a Daniel idea, because he's like, I like your beard. It's a lot shorter now, and it looks like you trimmed down the cheekbones a little bit. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like Cole's. And I was like, it is kind of like Cole's. We should do a deep fake right now.
Gosh. But the issue is you have an extremely long neck compared to Cole.
That's true.
It really looks weird seeing his face. But with your neck, it looks wrong.
Yeah. You almost would have been a better body type for it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Put you in a puffy sweater.
Put me in I love my puffy sweaters.
You'd be looking just like
Interesting.
So yeah,
wear some Uggs.
This was a 24-hour turnaround.
I like the idea much better of like the BTS and being able to show off the fact that like we tried, we installed the software, we have the capability, we were able to get the model running and try all of these things.
I feel like we have more room to improve before we show off any of it, though.
Oh, well, I mean, again,
but I think the first
it was
run,
proof of concept. Like it was just to show that we're a bunch of bing bongs out of Columbus, Indiana that just shoot photo and video and make a website every once in a while. It's like, if we're from the boony sticks compared to LA and all these big cities, it's like that do this professionally and like have VFX houses. We don't have any formal training in this. This is open source software. Anybody could be making projects like this given like David said, you have a
Some
little
resources.
know-how on how to get it up and running. But like, this was amazing because it's like, this is stuff that Hollywood's starting to get into, and it's like, I'm not saying we're on par with them, but the fact that we even have access to it's amazing. It's the same thing as when we got the Ronin. It's not an Arri Alexa or a super high $100,000 cinema camera, but the quality difference is getting, like, the gap is getting closer and closer with what we can produce.
Yeah, I will say one of the biggest disappointments is that with the Cole's face in his training, if you're watching the podcast right now, look at Cole's face. We use footage from the podcast.
What's wrong?
It looks great. There is a microphone in front of Cole's face.
Yeah. And it stays that way.
And yeah, the
I thought AI was smart. Why did it do that, David?
Because it's not smart. It's really dumb. It's really good at knowing dumb things.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing, and let's get into this a little bit deeper. So this is one of the reasons why I want to talk about this, and Tristan brought up the point, is the gap of, kind of the out of reach, need a lot of resource type of things, software, hardware. The gap is closing. We all know this. We've all seen it. But I think one of the amazing things is at a software level, we have the ability to run a lot of these really new cutting edge pieces of software on the machines that we own and run. And it's really cool, and that's why I wanted to kind of like bring it up and see exactly, like where is it going, what can we do with it. And this is definitely like a great proof of concept. I don't know where deepfakes help us from a business standpoint. Now, from like making something fun and making something entertaining for the viewers that we do have, like, I understand that's funny. And I struggle with that fine line of like, oh, this is funny and we can do it in our free time when we have it, but how does it make us money? But like the Descript part of it, so the AI trained and generated voice, that's something that I think is amazing, because you trained it with 10 minutes of audio.
Yeah.
And we have, if we went in and cut everybody else out and threw all the audio in from like the last 10 episodes of the podcast, it'd probably be a perfect model.
Yeah. Well, like our recordings from the podcast are like best case scenario, because very consistent, very little like background noise. So there's not a lot of like fluctuation in like what's being recorded between multiple sessions. So you have hours of footage, or not footage, but hours of audio that sounds almost identical. And the only difference is you talking.
Yeah. But I think the other thing I was trying to get at as well was, and correct me if I'm wrong, David, there is a difference between AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Or do they work hand in hand?
AI feels like more of a media term, like a
buzzword.
Buzzword.
Yeah. Marketing
machine
term.
learning is a type of I don't know. It gets weird, because the idea of machine learning is making a computer think more like how our brains think.
Right. Like neural networking.
Neural networking.
The reason I'm asking about this is because you guys had brought up, the deepfake software, and how, it made the deepfake of my face, but it had, this part of the microphone on my chin the whole time.
All over your chin, yeah.
And that's because I think a lot of people, it's like when you say artificial intelligence, it gives the idea of like, oh, this is a piece of software, and it learns to a degree that it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't include something like that. But it's not, like, it's still a program that's set up with parameters.
Yes.
That is just following the parameters, which is a lot of times referred to as an algorithm. And that's another word that gets thrown around a ton.
Buzzword, yeah.
Well, I mean, computers, at the end of the day, it's input output. So it's like whatever you train it to identify and what it to do. Like if you tell a computer, to do anything, it will do exactly what you tell it to do. And if you tell it to do it wrong, then that your expectation is just kind of offset. So like there's a Doctor Who episode where this Doctor Who is basically the sci-fi world, and there's this one part where an alien tries to rebuild a human, based on what it thinks humans would look like.
Yeah.
But it had only experienced humans with like gas masks on. So it assumes humans look like like humanoids with a gas mask attached to their face. And it's like, so to that other species, it just assumes that's what every human looks like. So to that AI model we trained, everything that looks like Cole has a microphone attached to his jaw. Like that's how it perceives you, but it doesn't know that's a microphone, as opposed to it doesn't know that the gas mask is like an attachment. It's not actually a feature of a human.
Right. Yeah. Right.
We're good at making computers really, really smart at like very one particular thing.
Correct.
Like you can train a computer to be able to tell you whether or not there's a hot dog. But it can just say hot dog, yes or no.
Actually, that was part of the video. That's part of BTS. I trained what I thought was I thought it was a model for learning your voice, and then I could type in whatever I want you to say and your voice says it. Yeah. I was actually learning vocal recognition. So I trained a model on your voice to recognize Cole out of us from the podcast by accident. So AI is almost to the point it's so easy.
Was that through Descript as well?
No, that was actually through a Google model. So like you can do it for image, you can do it for video, and I think you can do it for audio. Well, I know you can do it for audio, but basically I can train a model to identify in a photo what is a teddy bear and what isn't, and I can keep showing images. Kind of think of like whenever you do a CAPTCHA, it's like find the pictures of the bridge. I was basically training a model to find the picture of Cole, or in this case, find the vocals that are Cole's. So I could throw a bunch of audio at it and it would have identified you out of the pack.
That's crazy.
I don't know what use case it had for us at the time, because I misunderstood and I thought I was training a vocal model. I was training vocal recognition.
But could you imagine that? Like, so I know a lot of that stuff goes into Google Photos because the search is amazing. Could you imagine being able to type in your name and then it would pull all the video in your library that had your voice in it?
Like Google Photos, but like for the internet?
Well, no, I'm just saying specifically Google Photos, but just the ability, because like now it's like, right, type in a car. It's really good at like pulling everything that looks like a car. And if I put my type, Cole into it, I've trained it on my face.
Can you explain this a little bit? Because I use Google Photos, but I don't use these features. So you have Google Photos on your phone, your laptop, your computer.
Yep.
And you type in what you want to find, and it pulls through your own photos?
Correct.
Okay.
So it is, of course, right? It's like when you give your data to a company like this, they have the ability to do a lot of different things with it. And yes, they kind of own it in the end because it's on their server, but then they can use it to... You can index it in a way that you couldn't do on your own.
That sounds like something like featured government, like sci-fi stuff wants. It's like they pull up the security camera and they analyze the footage and they can hear like the 1984 Mustang in the background because only that engine makes that sound, and they know it's like 200 feet off to the left, and then you see it come on screen. You're like, whoa.
Well, you do think about it in like other countries, like China's security systems, like they have a camera on every block. They can identify crowd members solely based on it.
AI is just all about having data about like that stuff. And so if you know exactly the layout of like your city and have microphones like everywhere and cameras everywhere, you could tear apart that into like just individual bits of information.
It's that Batman scene, but in real life now.
Oh, it kind of is. Yeah. There's like a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah. Which seems
I tend to think it a little less dystopian portion. Yes.
Yeah.
I was saying like governments would love that though.
Oh yeah. But it's like the ability, like you think about this and you build upon it, right? Could you imagine, like, let's put it in like somewhat near future, technology, whatever, relation to that. And it's like, could you imagine being able to like point your phone camera at something like a car, and it would say, that's what this is, the year, the make, the model, the whole thing.
Dude, all the drop shippers are going to lose their jobs whenever you can just Google. I mean, you can kind of do it now with Google Lens.
Correct. And I'm just talking about a potential, upgrade to Google Lens, right? I mean, this is not far-fetched by any means.
Yeah, so like
but it has to like see it, you take the picture, it
has
scans
to have
the image.
so much data that people have collected and given to the computer saying, here's 1,000 images of exactly what this type of potato looks like.
1968 Mustang.
Yeah,
I want to say back to what you were talking about.
Yeah, like the Mustang. And so but you'd have to do that for everything.
No, I get it.
Thousands of like references for just one thing.
It's a lot of data.
Think of like every single thing that's in this room right now. That's like millions of gigabytes.
But could
of
you
information.
imagine being able to put on like a pair of glasses and you look at this camera and it's like Nikon Z6?
Yeah. And it would just know. It would just know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nuts.
Or like tear apart Tristan's outfit he's getting up. He's like, he can get that exact jacket at Kohl's. It's $7.99 right now because it was on clearance and nobody bought it.
They want that.
I mean, that's the thing. Is Cole was asking earlier, is like, how do we make this applicable to our business? How do we make money? And I mean, you're listening to a podcast. How do you use this, and what is attainable to you right now? There's a YouTuber called Caroline. Like Wilk, I don't know. I don't remember her last name. I was watching a video from her the other day. She's like an interior designer. I think it's really cool. People can make a whole YouTube living off of talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And she was expressing, how do you save money? She's also a code. She writes code for businesses, freelance. And so a lot
Coder.
She does a lot of backends for programmer for websites. But she was expressing, since she does backend for websites, there's ways to save money. One is using incognito mode. You get a lot of discounts on websites because this is your first interaction with the website, and they want you to make purchases, and that's great and well. The other option is, if you're on a website and you see an item that you really like, you can do right click if you're in Chrome on the image of that, and then do search with Google Lens, and then using Google's shopping, you go to Google, you type it, you go to the images or the video section, you can go to shopping, and it'll pull up everything on Google's web, like the entire SEO of Google of where else you can buy a similar, if not identical, rug, lamp, anything.
Oh, yeah.
And she was showcasing in her videos, like $700 rug from some boutique is like $400 from Alibaba and stuff like this. So, I mean, it's just information. That's all AI at the end of the day is. It's just information conveyed in a different like visual interface, whether that's swapping out a face or trying to search for information, and like through a UI it shows you information. So if you want to support local businesses, you can find it out that way. But if you're just trying to save a buck, there's value there. It just depends on how you want to use this tool. Yeah. So anybody can do this. Just doing Google Chrome, right click, search with Google Lens. You can do it on your phone. But there you go. There's your little tip.
And I think with that too, like, I mean, I think maybe you already made the point, but I think part of how they sold it, I watched Google I/O this past year, which is their event. They talk about search and they talk about everything.
Google
all the
search?
All the new stuff. Yeah, right? What's that? I don't know.
Is that like Firefox?
It's small.
Some people use it.
Yeah, a couple people.
If you only know.
But that was one of the things that they pointed out, was that, especially with the shopping features, that should help to drive traffic to more local businesses, because it has the ability to pull that information, and you're like, oh, I can buy that shirt at Target. Right, but like on the same list as the mom and pop shop, down here on Washington, and you can go buy it.
I feel like that's something Amazon is missing. Amazon needs to have like a local business section, or the heart, like the heart. Like you need to have like that. If they could somehow tap into that and like make it work, that would like be so awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't want to derail too much, but like that's growing in my mind, is like my personal purchasing habits. I generally am all about saving money, but more recently, as states and their legal differences start to become more prevalent, especially like it seems like in the last 4 or 5 years, different states have different rules about everything, and they're always evolving. It's like I kind of want to support the state I'm in, because for the most part, Indiana's been pretty chill. I like a lot of the politics here, But regardless of the politics, I like the communities. I like Indy. I like Carmel. I like Avon. But I like Franklin. I like Madison. Like from
Columbus.
I got Columbus.
Wow. He's going to hit them all in Columbus.
I got family in Lebanon. They used to live up in Lafayette. So it's like from the far north all the way down to like Madison. And like we shoot videos in South Bend and stuff. It's like... This is not a bad state, and I like a lot of the local businesses. I like the downtown feel of Columbus and Franklin, Madison. It's like I want to support that. So, yeah, I mean, if there were more options to find local business in that way, aside from going to your Chamber of Commerce, more online ways of finding it that are accessible to everyone, as opposed to you have to be a business to get in, or
this is
too hidden to find.
It's a whole round robin, right? We're just back to where we were. The gap is closing on the usability of these things.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. We bring up
the
Amazon.
Accessibility.
It's because like when I go in and like search stuff, it's like all AI optimized and like trying to figure out exactly what I want to buy, and maybe not showing me necessarily like the best thing.
You know what would fix that? So you know how like Amazon has their filter, like you can like filter out information. This doesn't have to be local. I want to support local, but you got to think of how does this benefit Amazon? They don't. Personally, I don't think they care. But what they do like, what they do like, is making money. One of the most expensive parts.
Hey man, most of their stuff gets driven out of a warehouse that's local. So
that's my point. So that the last mile is the most expensive part of a transaction. The last mile is, from getting it from California to Indiana is expensive, but getting it from Indianapolis to Columbus, Indiana, which is an hour away, is almost as, if not more expensive in almost every situation. If you could filter on Amazon by Green Mile, which is a terrible name because of the movie, but like there is like a mileage distance or a carbon footprint issue. So it's like you can buy this for a cheaper price, but the carbon footprint of this one may be lower. So like I want to buy local because the carbon footprint for me to acquire this product is more attainable. And I know people are going to lie about those numbers because that's the way it is. But if there was some sort of filtering or authentication where Amazon can say, hey, we're saving money because the cost of transit is lower, and then you're willing to spend more money just because it's local or it's already there or it's produced locally, it's like to them it makes sense, and to the consumer it makes sense, and then to somebody that wants to save money as opposed to distance or cares about the environment.
I mean, they're just switching to EVs.
Yeah.
they actually just rolled off a bunch of the Rivian, the new electric Rivian Amazon delivery vans.
Really? I didn't know Rivian was doing stuff with them.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. It is a big deal.
They must have been keeping that quiet because I have not.
They look pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
But like that would lower like...
if
you're switching through them, that's
even
even lower.
Really kind of smart because I was just thinking about what's like a good solution that Amazon could do. They could like make something like really, really local. Like maybe it's like a building and you just sell like a whole bunch of stuff that's local. And maybe it's not like a grocery store, but maybe there's like tiny stores inside of it.
Inside of like one
larger store. Man, and they're like renting it out so they could make money off of it. And I was like, it's a freaking mall.
It's the thing that's
maybe
continually
the mall
closing.
Is the answer. The comeback that we need is the mall. We need skateboarders going around.
That's actually what I did though.
Yeah,
I went up to the Keystone Mall to buy a very niche thing from a local company. Wow. Just because of they offered a good product. It was a little more expensive, but it was local, and their customer service was good. I wish I could
just see something in person before I could buy it. Like pick it up, look at it, maybe browse around physically. It's like, dude, we need malls again. We need
physical stores.
Our mall,
brick and mortar.
Malls are like died really bad. Like the past 10
the
years.
The metaverse is gonna fix all of this.
Oh my gosh, that looks so dumb.
No, we're gonna put on our goggles. It's gonna take us to
put on a virtual piece of clothing and make sure it fits.
At least you'll be able to see it in scale. You'll be like, I don't know.
But Amazon already has the counter argument to the physical stores. Like you can scan your home and drop in the 3D model of it, and you can see the crappy low polygon
it's like
AR
nobody's
system.
ever gonna leave their house. Like there's not a reason to even step outside. You can just do it. Buy your food
but here's the thing.
Shopping at home.
I was just listening to this. Like they were talking about the metaverse, and they're like, the thing is like Meta goes out.
They added feet, man.
Look like Facebook. Facebook Meta, same thing for those of you who haven't seen the brand change. But they were talking about the fact that he's making this metaverse and he's dumped billions of dollars in this thing.
Claims it was a mistake.
Who does? I don't know about that.
Didn't he not say that?
He does
after
not claim he has a mistake.
That would be detrimental to it.
He is backing this thing 110%.
He as in Zuckerberg, right?
Yes. Yep. So owner of Facebook, the dude that started it. There you go. Mm-hmm. And so he's dumped so much into this because, and I never thought about it this way, because think about what just happened. So for those of you who haven't noticed, there's a thing on your iPhone. This was a couple versions of iOS ago. You're going to get this notification when you download a new app and you open it. And you have two options. Ask app not to track.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you're fine with it. Like continue, whatever it is. And I'm going to be honest with you. Every time it pops up on mine, I'm like, don't track.
Yeah.
I want you to track me.
I don't like the wording of it. It says ask it not to track.
Oh, that's
so
true.
So it's like you don't.
But the only thing
it feels like a technicality type answer thing. It's like, well, you asked it,
but it's working.
But it did it anyway. Yeah, but it's working.
It's working because Meta, Facebook lost $10 billion in ad revenue.
Yeah,
because Apple slapped them in the face with this. They were just like, no, we love privacy. Yep. Although I just read an article the other day that they're like, even though they're like Apple's like privacy, we're not collecting data from you. Like, they are. And somebody came out and figured it out. We'll see how that develops, but it's this. So they do all this, which means like Google keeps doing their thing, keeps making their money, and Apple keeps making their money, and then Zuckerberg is just he got hit hard with this whole ask app not to track, and this whole thing goes down. Well, the metaverse is their way to be able, if they can start this thing and build it from scratch, because there's things that exist that are technically metaverses. They fall underneath like Roblox and Fortnite. Like those are technically metaverses because it's a digital world that you can go and do things in.
Yeah.
Underneath all these new definitions. So once they're able to actually like build out this metaverse, this world where it's like, when you go to google.com to make a search, like eventually, like if you go in to find these other virtual worlds, these other websites, you would go to one central place, and that is what Zuckerberg is hoping is the metaverse. And if they run this thing, then they own the ads, the revenue from all those things, and then they can say, well, sorry, Apple, you can't have your storefront in the metaverse.
So that was there's two things. There was the guy who went on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about being at, I don't remember his name.
I was like,
there was a guy
on that one episode at that one time.
He used to be on the back end at Facebook. He'd been there for a long time.
Oh, okay.
He has a lot of experience with big tech companies, and one of Zuckerberg's biggest concerns at the initial conception of Facebook was, as it started to grow in popularity and it became an app, was getting it on the on Facebook on the App Store for Apple meant Apple controlled all of what Facebook does, not in the sense of how Facebook operates entirely, but anything Apple says, they set the bar, and whatever they say, Facebook has to cooperate or they will be removed from the App Store, just like Epic Games' Fortnite was, which was at the time was one of the biggest games, and Apple still had the balls to say, all right, you're out. You broke our rule, you're out. And it's like Zuckerberg was well aware, which is partly why he wanted to push so hard in the metaverse, like Cole was saying, was he didn't want anyone to tell him what he could or couldn't do based on someone else's EULA or TOS or whatever. But I found the comment that I thought meant he was backtracking on metaverse, and this was in an interview after he laid off his 10 to 11,000 employees.
They did a lot of layoffs the past month or so.
He had the balls to critique Elon's Twitter layoffs too, which I thought was pretty insightful of how he views himself.
He went and did all these things and was very generous and very kind.
He signed the email himself. Elon didn't sign the email.
I mean, I will say he put a personal touch on all of it, supposedly, and it wasn't as, I don't know, like very
Yeah.
just like all of
Yeah.
a sudden like, well, if you know here the survey email, for example, right?
Yeah.
Elon sends it out and he's like, you're either with us or you can give me your resignation, and
That's
it's like,
funny.
whoo.
So here's the quote, and this was
Zuckerberg cried
So
supposedly.
this isn't a quote from Zuckerberg.
No, on the other hand, as you read Zuckerberg explanation for what happened, the question you have to ask is what exactly he means by taking accountability. Here's what he wrote. So Zuckerberg wrote this.
Allegedly.
I guess.
Allegedly.
At the start of COVID, the world rapidly moved online and the surge of e-commerce led to outsized revenue growth. Many people predicted this would be a permanent acceleration that would continue even after the pandemic ended.
Number go
Number go up. It
It'll
could never
only
go
go
back,
up.
Never go back down. I did too, he says. So I made the decision to significantly increase our investments. Unfortunately, this did not play out the way I expected. Not only has the online commerce returned to prior trends, but the macroeconomic downturn, that's a weird word of saying that, increased competition and ads signal loss have caused our revenue to be much more lower than I had expected. I got it wrong and I take responsibility for that. So I guess it's not the metaverse that he was saying. His predictions of the online economic store is what he is blaming the layoffs for in this case.
So Apple stocks are down
My misunderstanding.
22%. Microsoft is down 28%. Google's down 34%.
As of
Facebook,
the-
as
for
of like
the
right
year?
now. Oh, year to date.
Okay.
Year to date. And then for Facebook, it's 66%
No,
down. They're tanking.
they got hit really hard this
Yeah.
year, and he went on like a hiring spree during all the things that, you know, a pandemic and seeing the surge. Like, they hired a lot of people, like way more than they probably should have.
And this is, can you see like a 5-year instead of
5-year?
of year to date? So this is my
nuts.
issue with like financial advisors in general is this wasn't expected. Like, as far as I'm aware, a lot of at the time of COVID, a lot of people said put all your money in the economy because it's on a downturn. And this is my unlicensed opinion, but but the everybody started like either pulled out all their money or started investing heavily into tech, and it was unexpected to have the COVID economy occur. But then all these tech companies blow up, and now they're all seeing a downtick. And it's like nobody predicted that it would go up, but nobody predicted really that it was going to go down either.
I don't get.
You wanted a 5-year projection?
I don't get that
Are they
at
up
all.
or, I assume
So
they're
you
all
think-
up.
It was just
So-
like Netflix, right? They're like, oh, we're hitting a wall with subscribers, and you're like, so everybody's at home, and then they get, you know, we're all in quarantine, and we do all these things for, you know,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you get released, and everybody's like, sweet, and we get weather. There was a bunch of people had money to just burn.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, no, sorry, now our numbers are going down. We didn't expect this. And it's like, really?
Yeah. So I'm not downplaying the use of a financial advisor. It's just if you're investing only in the biggest top 10 companies at a time, but they're all in the same industry, you're going to get
It's
hosed
silly.
whenever that industry tanks. And I'm pretty sure it was, what's the book? There's a book with like the 5-letter acronym of Google, Facebook,
That's right.
Apple,
What is it?
Microsoft. There's like all of the
I
big
forget
5.
what it is, yeah.
And it's like if those are the only companies you're investing in, whenever tech hits a downtick, your entire portfolio is dipping. Like you have to diversify a bit. But it's like if you were just throwing all your money in it the way people were throwing money at Bitcoin, it's like you're just gambling. And
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't throw a bunch of money at them recently.
So Apple is up 200% over the past 5 years.
That's good.
Microsoft's almost 200%, is 185. Google is only 85% up. Amazon's only 60% up, and Facebook is down 37% over 5 years.
Yeah.
So they made a mistake.
Well, think about all the
indeed.
stuff they've gone through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just saying, like, they rebranded themselves, and he can say all day long that this was coming down the pike, but like, they rebranded themselves,
Yeah.
You know, after all the scandals, the whistleblowing and all the things that came out and all the issues that were happening with Facebook at the time that are still happening.
Yep.
There's really good documentaries on Netflix about the thing that happened with Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah.
Which is one of the big ones that I think a lot of people forgot about. And I think there's also another one specifically about kind of the whistleblowing that happened recently about the issues that are happening with teenage girls on Instagram, like the mental health aspect of that, and you know, somebody coming out and having documents and all these things that were going on. And so it's like, eventually, right? I mean, he's his own worst enemy. We know this. You know, it was inevitable. Yeah. So it's like, but the funny thing is like I put this thing on my face with screens and eye tracking on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I enter into this, and you have to have a Facebook account to use the dang thing.
So now you have to have a Meta account.
Sorry, Meta account.
Now it's a Meta account. It's separate from Facebook, sort of.
Yeah,
sort of.
It's separate but the same.
It's a different
the same
name. Company.
It's a different name.
No, it's you.
Yeah.
So there's no difference.
Yeah. I think I'd rather have a slow grind up of like, you know, like building your company up of things that you actually stand for, as opposed to just like, I like the idea of like riding a trend every once in a while, but like to build your whole company on basically just lying to people. Because I mean, that was, you know, like, it's a social platform. It's like, it is, but you're marketing the people. It's like, it's not so much that you were marketing people or that you were using teenage mental sanity to build your platform. It's like, if you're going to be honest about it up front and people know what they're consenting to when they use your app, then you know that's the trade-off. But if you're hiding that, then that seems wrong to me. I
just don't think a public company can be sincere and care about their consumers like that.
Well, they can.
Doesn't seem to be.
Because the goal of a public company is to satisfy their stakeholders. Yeah. That is the only thing they care about.
That's all they care about.
And like, you can't do that and also care about your consumers.
What happens if a stakeholder's not satisfied?
Well, yeah, but the only money speaks to them.
Exactly. So if you're known as a company that won't bend to that, you only will attract investors that are willing to abide by the way your company operates, which is what...
Or you'll just go under.
I mean, you could, but LTT...
Or you just change your name.
LTT's talked about it.
They're not a public company.
No, they said if they ever went public, the only way they would do it is if they were able to operate under their own agreements.
Yeah, but like then you're just on a ticking time bomb.
Correct.
Until you get people investing that aren't that.
Yeah, and that's fair. But unless your goal was just to tank companies, which some people do.
That's true.
It's like, you wouldn't, so...
did you hear about Disney?
What, did they have private equity fail?
No, they fired their CEO.
Yep.
Like they did it like randomly last Friday.
Oh, dude,
out of the blue.
He's
and they
doing
brought
something.
back what, Bob Iger? Is that his name?
I think it's just Iger.
Iger?
Yeah, they brought him back.
Yeah.
Dude,
all of a sudden it was just like, oh, by the way, Bob is the CEO again. And it was like, what?
Dude, he was on Epstein Island or something. That's too shady just to get fired out of the blue.
He was getting ready to expose where they're hiding Walt Disney's head.
He wanted to de-thaw it. He thought like, they were ready.
I say we de-thaw.
And they're put it on display.
So Walt can't handle 2022.
No information about it. He was just like, oh.
I think it had to do with like projections and things. It had to do with money. Like he wasn't running it. He wasn't meeting like the whatever.
Dude, how bad do you have to be running a company for
know.
Disney not to make enough money?
I saw this is all on Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt.
I'm pretty sure you could just let that thing auto run until the day it dies, and Disney will still make money.
Just he was like cutting like costs, like cutting corners everywhere and making everything like more expensive, especially like Disney World and stuff. So things were not as good quality and it costs more. And like people were not happy.
We've talked about this. That's bad.
Yeah.
Costs more, less quality.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what we do.
That's the opposite, yes.
That's right, baby. That's not what we stand
for. High quality, low prices, Walmart.
Well, it's the triangle, right? It's the what is that triangle that they call it? It's
time, quality, cost.
Time, quality, you have to choose two, and the other one lacks. Yeah. So if you want fast and quality, it's going to cost a lot. If you want it fast and cheap, it won't be quality.
Yeah.
And vice versa, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty true.
It's true. We actually base a lot of what we do off of that.
Yeah. People say we're expensive, and it's like, well, we're good quality. And some people say we're too fast. I'm like, well, it's because we're good quality.
Yeah, we're just so
and the
fast.
cost
We
is
gotta
high.
slow ourselves down.
I can't tell you how many times I've had a client tell us, "Wow, that was
fast.
way faster than I expected."
There's times where you'll have a project done so quick, you'll actually wait to send it a little bit because you don't want them to get too excited.
You don't want them to get used to it being that fast.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta wait an extra half hour.
Yeah, I have never done that.
Instead of, it's like that extra half hour makes a difference for like a 24-hour turnaround. Instead of turning around in 10, you're like 10 and a half. That's the right number.
You know, if it's a half an hour, it's getting shipped. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now I just like included like PS in the email. PS. This is not usual turnaround time. Don't get used to it.
Yeah.
It's back early. It costs extra. So we went way off the rails.
We'll hold on to it. You can unlock it now. It's like a video game, like the mobile phone games where
pay
you like
to unlock now.
you pay to unlock now.
Oh my gosh! Have you seen the cars? We have to pay
is
to
genius.
unlock
This is not
acceleration.
I want this,
Dude, all right, now you're gonna get fired like the SE,
No,
the CEO.
that would be amazing.
What was it? What was the car company that's
You can
doing
have
that?
it in 24 hours is like when it's unlocked, but there's a potential it's released earlier.
I love
if
this.
you pay an extra.
This
$5.
is like-
I hate
I was-
pay to subscription models. I hate them so much.
No, it's not subscription.
No, not subscription.
We advertise 24-hour turnaround.
Yeah.
You could have it earlier for a fee, but expected the 24-hour turnaround. So the clients
it's like
that want it,
expedited shipping.
It's
Yes.
essentially a rush, right? It's
Yeah.
a rush product, whatever. But it would be much more funny to put along the lines of like pay to play gaming, and it's like. This is like, it's essentially right. It's like an icon of what your thing is, and it's like it's locked, but there's a counting clock. But you can,
Or you can pay to unlock it
You
now.
can pay to unlock it
Dude,
now.
I like the visuals of this.
That
It's
is
like
so dumb.
It's like a
I
little
hate
white
it.
box with like the little loot chest with like locks and chains
Yes,
across the
yes.
middle of it, and you can see like just the clip of the like the
Playing
drone
Clash of
shot.
Clans.
No, and you have to use TRIFLIX bucks. You have to
Get
buy
you locked in.
pre-buy the money, the TRIFLIX bucks, and then you
Yeah.
can use those as points.
See,
Yeah, if you buy 5 in a row, you get 10 free TRIFLIX bucks.
Yeah,
this
right.
sounds like a
It's horrible.
this sounds like a Christmas idea. I think Tristan needs to get visited by the ghost of Christmas spirit to reassess this idea.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like subscription models for like cars to unlock the extra acceleration.
Oh no! That makes me mad.
It's so dumb.
If it's built in, it should have been given.
It's like you've literally made the product already. Just make me pay for the thing I own.
I know what's wrong with the trim.
Yeah.
The trim model. It's like, okay, if I can afford this, I get this, and I miss out on these features. If I want more features, I pay more money up
They're
front,
just
and it's
greedy.
done.
Did you hear Intel's doing that with their new CPUs?
Yeah, like you've already
Wait,
made.
what?
You have to pay
The product.
a one-time or a subscription to unlock your CPU. So CPUs in your computer, in your phone, anything, there's a CPU. It does the processing.
Yeah.
In a computer, if you build your own computer, you buy a CPU as a component. It's like having a car. You break your
They're just
door, you
putting
buy a new door.
handicapped on your products because I don't understand.
Well,
That's
no, there
ridiculous.
is a reason you have a locked CPU. It's for safety. Your computer, your CPU is rated to run at a certain heat value. Like it can't go too hot. It has to
I've
run at a constant
never seen someone accidentally
overclock.
overclock their
Yeah,
CPU.
no,
right?
No, it's a. I mean,
Now you tell me I gotta pay somebody before I can overclock? Like,
Yeah.
well, so there's the thing of the computer, and it runs constantly whenever you put it on your computer, and there are equivalent CPUs that are unlocked, which means you can just run it harder. And the way you would do that is like. You can add a better CPU cooler. So like adding water cooling or a bigger fan or something like that to keep your CPU cooler. You raise the clock speed so it runs faster, runs hotter. It's like having a car. If you wanted to run faster, run hotter, either put in better fuel. I don't know. Cole finished the analogy, but there are ways to make the car run better, run faster,
more
you
cool air. Yeah.
You can tune it. And in order to do this, it used to be free, or you would buy you'd buy the CPU and then you could just do it on your own. Now you buy the CPU, and in order to upgrade it or to improve it, to change a setting in your computer, you have to pay them. And it's a setting that's been there since computers have been available.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's robbery.
So there's the other way around, which makes sense. So like you make a processor and there's 4 cores in it, just 4 little workers in there that your computer take advantage of. When they're making these things, sometimes when they're in the middle of making them, one of them fails when it's being created. So only 3 out of 4 of them work. And instead of throwing it away, they sell it at a lesser price, and they just disable the one that doesn't function right.
Yeah.
And so now you're selling your inventory, and your people are still getting what they want. And there's like sometimes the ones that they sell could be re-enabled by the user, but like you're not guaranteed that it won't just like crash and burn and like cause your computer to freeze.
But like we've
that
talked
makes
about,
sense though.
If you bought it, go for it.
Yeah, and you could do that.
You own it.
But like there's that asterisk there, like we can't guarantee this one will work.
For sure.
Which is that's referred to as the silicon lottery. So if you buy a CPU, there's a chance when you overclock it, which is you unlock the CPU, it's unlocked.
Yeah.
You overclock it, so you make it run faster, run hotter. There's a chance that it can run, better. It can make your computer play video games. It renders the frames faster, or that's basically the most biggest reason you would do it. You can actually process AI faster. Basically anything you're using your CPU for, it will do it quicker. But there's a chance that you will burn it up and it will just die. Because your computer, your CPU is like your heart. It has a limited number of beats per minute, or a limited number of cycles it can complete before it dies. And a healthy heart or a healthy CPU, it will run longer, faster, for more duration. But like they're locking it for your safety, so that quote quote for your safety, so that it doesn't burn out and you get the full lifespan of the product.
The infuriating part of it is like 10 years down the line, when this is just a worthless hunk of junk, there's going to be no difference between that thing and the one that someone paid like an extra $100 to unlock.
Right.
Like it's going to be so old, no one cares about it. Intel might not even have like the resources to make it unlocked and like unleashed so you could use it anymore.
Unleashed.
And it's just like, it's just so stupid. It's just a piece of metal. Let us use the physical thing that what it was designed for. It's just
and if I want the better one, I'll pay more money.
It's like such a waste of like talent and energy and design.
So I've got something for you. I was gonna wait till later, but I think because we've gone off the AI rails that I wanted to discuss today, we'll circle back around. But this goes more with what we were talking about. So I love to update my apps.
Okay.
Like I like updates. I like the new things, the features, I'm like, oh, what's new, and like the new design or whatever. I think that stuff is cool. So I went into my app store like I normally do, and I pulled a little refresh, and it's like you have 13 updates. I'm like, okay. And one of them, we use an app called Filmic Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. So we use an app called Filmic Pro. I have it on my phone, and we use it sometimes when we shoot. We shoot with the phone for video footage.
Shoot with the phone.
This unlocks a lot of capability. This helps us to have a low tier of cost for people who are trying to save money, but still still use video and get it professionally done. It helps everyone. So we like to have that tier. That tier is pretty popular. So we use this app because it unlocks a lot of capabilities that Apple doesn't let you use. So it lets us choose a lot of different formatting, and
so they're there, but they just don't let you get out.
You're paying to unlock features.
Well, here's the thing: is like,
but it's a third party.
I can go into my phone, right? And there's a couple different switches I can do, and I can say, hey, it's not enabled by default, but I can unlock ProRes and I can unlock Apple RAW, which are just two different formats that are higher quality, more malleable.
Take up more space when you use them.
Right. So they're doing you a service by not enabling these by default. But all it does is when you check the box within Apple's camera app, is it unlocks the buttons so you can switch to these formats. So, which is great and all. But again, this app gives you pay one fee, pay a $20 fee, and you get the app. So it's yours. You get the updates, all the things. And we've been using it. It gives you manual controls on, white balance and shutter speed and ISO.
Nice. Yeah.
You can rack focus. So if you wanted to pull manual focus to kind of show that depth, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of audio stuff. So it's just better for professionals. Or if you were a prosumer that wanted to unlock more capabilities and use the $1,400 device in your pocket, $20. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. What was $20 compared to the cost of your phone?
Well,
exactly.
It's
a one-time $20 fee.
$20 on an iPhone, to unlock these features. If you were looking for a camera, to go buy to shoot video, it's any camera. You'd have to spend at least $400 on a camera to get something better than what your iPhone is. And that's still, it'd probably be just on par. I think the G7 versus the iPhone, it's that's pretty close.
Yeah.
But I still like the image quality coming out of the iPhone would still, I think, look a little better. You'd have to be spending $500-$600 to beat it.
The nice
and
thing
this
that
is $20.
Yeah, the nice thing that you're getting with the iPhone is it is doing a lot of HDRing, which is great with video, just to help really pull a higher range of light and shadow and color, all the things. So this app unlocks all those things, right? We've been using it now for a little while. Tristan was an advocate, but I have been trying to be better about this. We have a process. You use the process, and if you're going to change the process, you need to proof this before you do it on a shoot.
Yep.
So you have to run through it a couple times.
Yeah, which I didn't do. I used it. I used it once, mostly understood it, used it on a shoot, shot in a format that was way higher than what we needed and had way more data than what we needed.
Didn't you shoot 444?
Something like that, yeah.
We shot even on my cinema camera, it was high quality video. I would shoot this
insane.
and it would have been maybe 100 gigabytes with all the bells and whistles. He shoots it on his cell phone. It was 200.
It was a lot
for just a small little
for a couple
house,
3-minute videos.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So I update my apps this week, and they're Filmic Pro version 7.0, new
Nice.
features. And I was because I read the change logs, and I was that's awesome. So I open the app, and I get this dialog box right off the beginning, this warning, and it says, "Warning, user, you'll be able to see your files within the app, but you won't be able to export your footage to another machine or see it within the file system on your phone." So what we do is when we film using that app, I can plug it into my computer and I can transfer that footage. And it's just ProRes footage, just like we would shoot on the Nikons or the Ronin. And they're you can't access. And I was well, this seems weird. I just kind of pushed it away. And then I kept seeing this button up in the top corner now. I was oh, it looks great. And it's it says Pro. And I was well, I bought it, so it's probably the Pro thing. I click on Pro, just out of curiosity. And come to find out, Filmic has been merged or bought by another company. And version 7.0 brings some features. But they want to charge you now a subscription fee to use the app.
That you paid $20 for.
I've already paid $20. So listen to this though. So the pricing, and let me pull this up. So I was getting a deal quotation marks because I'm a past purchaser, blah blah blah. Yeah, here it is. So it comes up as soon as I open the app, by the way. I haven't even gotten to the part where I can use it. So I'm getting a loyalty discount. So usually your first option is $3 a week.
A week?
$3 a week. I did the math on this. Go ahead and pull it up. $2.99 per week to use this app.
Not $150 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can get it for $1.99 a week. Or
because you bought the app, so you can.
Now they have an option for a yearly cost, which is $40, usually $50, but I can get it for $40. And then you can also get a free a free trial, which is 3 days or something like that.
Oh, I love heartless corporations.
So they have a nice little way of around this. You can now download an app called Filmic Pro Legacy.
Legacy.
and it's version 6 whatever.
The one that you had before.
The one I had before, and you can continue to use it, and they will do bug fixes, but it will get no feature updates.
Wow.
And tell me that's going to last.
It's going to...
Wait for them to pull Legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The second you get an iPhone update, it's gone. Like, they're not going to update it for the
next
next
update. It's going to be like,
update.
oh, this app hasn't been updated for the next... Which is the other issue with Apple's app store. It's like they don't let you download... Like on your computer, on your MacBook, you can just go online to some guy in Iowa. He decided to make this really fun app or whatever you think is really good for your workflow. You could download it and install it from his website.
Yep.
And like Apple has no idea it exists. And it works on your computer.
It's amazing. You can run an app from somebody else on a machine that you paid for.
Yeah. It's revolutionary.
It blows my mind.
It's unheard of. And then Apple on their iPhones and iPads are like, oh, it didn't go through the App Store.
I thought...
It could never be allowed on your iPhone.
So they were bought by Bending Spoons.
Yes.
I thought Bending Spoons was Creative Cloud. I thought it was the CC logo.
No.
Yeah, no,
I've never heard of Bending Spoons.
I've seen this logo before.
Supposedly they're behind a couple other apps that I think we've heard of. So,
well,
I had the.
I've
Did you
seen
pull
this-
up the article?
No.
I have an article linked in our outline.
Bending Spoons Company?
Let's see here.
Dude,
Yeah.
you can't tell me those logos don't look similar.
Creative
they're one of their popular apps. It says it's called Splice.
They are pretty similar. You are actually...
Splice is a video editor for iOS and iPhone.
Dude,
or iOS and iPad.
The Bending Spoons logo actually looks better than Creative Cloud's.
I have not seen their logo.
It's
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
really why I was really confused.
Holy moly.
I thought Bending Spoons was like a joke name for Creative Cloud, but there was too many websites using it in their news stories. I was like, that has to be a real company. And they only launched in 2013.
Bending Spoons.
I've never heard of this company.
Here's their website.
I've definitely seen the logo though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's It's unfortunate for sure. Yeah, Splice is right on the front of their website. That actually looks like a really nice video editor for
Splice.
Wow,
is right.
It could do background removal.
Dude, they're gonna charge you.
Well,
Another
and so here's
subscription.
the thing. Watch. So if I go back to this, so the statement from Filmic, right? Going forward, future apps will be moving to a subscription model, and we hope to arrive at the right pricing model soon, but we are not there yet.
Dude, I'm
Clearly.
on board for the open source stuff now. Like,
Yeah.
it's just getting ridiculous.
This is all, but it's been going more and more to the point. Like, the more stuff like this exists, the more I want to support open source and local. Like, not because I don't want this type of software to exist, but if it does, I want it to be from a place that I at least have access to, if that makes sense. Like,
imagine if somebody made you
anywhere.
pay a subscription to use a hammer.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's like, come on.
dude, I have the smart locks on my house. Like, they joke about it, but like, what if you have to pay a subscription to use the smart feature that allows you into your own home?
You can only unlock your house 10 times a week.
Why wouldn't they?
What's stopping them? They
No.
can't. You have to. It's
the subscription model is so evil.
the greed is strong.
So here's the counterpoint. So Eufy, whatever,
Eufy?
Eufy, Anker's brand, they were a product that I liked. Like, their brand model, their concept was, we don't do the cloud. There's no subscriptions. You buy it one time. You buy the hardware, and the updates, like, most of their products don't need updating because it's just, maybe there's a safety or a bug fix, but there's not like new features being accessed. And what their main tech lines were: smart vacuums, home security, and like smart locks, which falls into the home security system. And they recently had their big scandal of basically everything they claimed they weren't doing in terms of cloud data. They said that everything was local, no cloud data. It didn't matter if you'd ever set up an online login or not. Their information was going to the cloud, whether that's your security systems, cameras on your vacuum, anything like that, vocal recognition. All this was going to the cloud.
I saw that. Yeah,
and it's like, why? You told us you weren't going to do this. I bought the product based on this. It was basically fraud at that point. It was fraudulent.
They had to be selling data.
Well, they
were putting data profiles together and selling data, and that
the thing was, it wasn't even encrypted. It's not even encrypted. People could access other people's streams in their home, and and then they claimed that it was for notifications. So the user turned off, uninstalled the app and everything, and then the streams were still going out. So even though he deleted his whole account, so there was no notifications to be sent, and the data was still getting passed through his home Wi-Fi to go out. Yeah. So it's even whenever you find a good reputable company, you aren't Meta obviously isn't the most reputable, and they were lying. Everyone knew it. But even when you have a company that you think you can trust, they're still lying. Not all the time, but you know,
this is
you can't. I don't know. It's crazy because something that happened like that locally, your business would just be done.
Yeah,
people would, everybody would know, and you just lose all your income.
And even if they get taxed or not taxed, even if they get fined or lawsuits and the money goes out, how much money did they make during that time?
Well, they don't.
That probably outweighed the cost of the lawsuits. It's unless the Linus said this recently, it was unless the slap on the wrist is big enough to make an example of them, all these tech companies are going to continue doing anti-consumer practices.
Yeah.
And it's I wouldn't have cared if you sold my data if I knew it before I agreed to it.
Ask me.
Yeah.
You just straight up lied. It was the same thing with Meta. They're openly lying.
I feel like it's almost a disservice to call it anti-consumer because it gives you the concept if they care about thinking about the consumers. They're not even thinking about them.
Profit.
Yeah, it's like cattle.
Yeah. Or the little birds on Finding Nemo.
They don't even have the capacity to understand that they're there's something that could be anti them. They're just our thing. We can use them however we want.
Yeah. No.
I learned recently, I've been looking into upgrading our Wi-Fi router at home.
Yeah.
And I was looking at getting the new Google Nest router. I like what we have now. It's what that is, but it's the newer version.
Yeah.
And a lot of I was reading some reviews about it because I was just curious, and they were talking about one of the big things with their routers is that in order for you to see the list of devices on your router, you have to enable Google Cloud services. So essentially, right, all this stuff is being stored up in the cloud, and you have to enable the service to see what devices are on your home network.
Yeah.
Information that should be available at a local level, right? You have to enable cloud services.
I'm
why?
Not right.
Why?
Well, this is how they're getting around it because there was recent legal changes on how U.S. companies can sell advertising data, and it's no longer an individual profile. Your profile is thrown in a bucket of people that are similar to you, whether that's age, demographic, gender, or preference of products. So I'm a tech enthusiast versus I'm into fashion. You're thrown in a bucket of similar people, and then your data's shipped off.
Instead of me being Cole Ankney, I'm A1C,
car guy. You're just a collective. But then at the same time, once you have enough data about a person, not knowing who the person is, but knowing that you fit into these certain groups, it's like a thumbprint. It's there's only a certain amount of people that live in Columbus, Indiana, that likes cars, or lives in Nineveh and likes cars and donuts and likes to take pictures. All these random things that could only line up to be Cole Ankney.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it all says Cole Ankney without saying Cole Ankney.
It essentially is the same exact thing that it was before. They just redacted the name.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the profile, if I looked at it, I'd be oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has kids.
So here's the
drives a lot.
Drives an Audi.
If they're going
Stop talking about it.
If they're going to break the agreement of we won't sell your data, why would they stop at we won't sell your
personal
binned data?
Because it's not personal anymore. Yeah.
So how, legally they're not supposed to be selling your individual data, but they can sell your data. But whatever a company is like UFI who says we won't sell anything, and then they sell it, they're already breaking one of their own rules. So why would they stop at the legal rule of why aren't they just selling individual profile data? And maybe they are, because one of the issues with their leak was you could see individual accounts by name. You could see email. You could see the live streams at their house.
Yeah.
Like all of this information was leaked. If they're leaking that out, well, not they are leaking it, but if it's leakable, then surely they're probably also selling it.
My school loan provider accidentally leaked like all the personal information of like people who had loans.
Yeah.
Like the federal loan place, like Oklahoma service loan accounts, like OSLA. I forget what the exact thing was. And it was like, yeah, we actually leaked your data. Sorry. I'm like,
dude, I just got a thing from T-Mobile saying the same, like that my data got leaked in a recent breach, and I'm entitled to compensation.
But these companies like us, and they have us at heart. They love us.
They shouldn't have this information is the thing. Like anybody that is remotely, if you have a server that stores this data, you shouldn't have data that you're willing to lose, or they don't care whether they lose it, but they you know what I mean? They shouldn't be hosting anything that they could lose a lawsuit over.
It should be encrypted in a way where
even
like,
if
we have these standards where
it shouldn't even be encrypted, because these idiots can't even figure out how to encrypt it. UFI has encrypted point-to-point data transfer, so like from your house to their servers, it was supposed to be encrypted. It wasn't even encrypted.
Yeah.
So it's like clearly these idiots in a tech business can't even manage that much.
And the issue wasn't even it was unencrypted. Well, I mean, that is an issue. But it's like the fact that they're sending this data that they're not supposed to. And the response was like, well, that wasn't supposed to be like, you weren't supposed to be able to see that.
So my point is...
I know, right? It was like the whole guy at Apple listening to like the microphones of phones or whatever. And they're like, you weren't supposed to know that.
It was like, let me just close this door.
So here's the thing. I would rather have my nude body leaked than my social security, my bank account information, and all this. Right? And here's the thing. We've talked about this before. It's like
you'd be like, here, I'll send you some like real good ones. Those ones suck.
Hold on. So like we've talked about this before. Like you don't trust Snapchat or like any photo sharing software. Like you'll do your own cloud stuff, but you're not sending person to person online information where like it's not getting sent. But the thing is, you've also expressed that you don't like to send personal information out over the online, regardless of if it's a photo, right? Like you don't generally...
I try not to, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather you call me and I'll give you, It's like my wife's like, I need your social. I'm like, you can call me and I'll give it to you over the phone.
Yeah. So it's like just this idea of what information somebody's willing to trade, like what is valuable to you. Is like social security, you don't want someone to leak that. And it's like, all right, what about your bank account? No. It's like, all right, your personal name, whatever. It's like, maybe I don't want that out. My home address, definitely not. And it's like you start going through this tier of information you're willing to share. And it's like everybody's is different. But I feel like everybody, for the most part, there's a general consensus on things that you don't want everyone in the world to know about you.
Yeah.
I'm like fine about don't leak my passwords, but like I don't care about the home address, my name. I mean all of that stuff is easy to find. It doesn't bother me.
For an advertiser or for the general public?
And either one.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm a fan of like what these new security key things are doing. Not like what we've seen before, but the idea is your password is used to unlock kind of like your LastPass.
Yeah.
So the idea of having like a master password that unlocks like a little vault on your computer, and then that inside the vault is like a really long password that nobody could memorize, and then that's your real password, and that gets used. To me, that makes a lot more sense because somebody out there knows your password. They can't do anything because they don't have your computer that actually has the password on it.
Right.
I
think we're on the way to getting it figured out to a certain degree, but it's always a trade-off, right, guys? I mean, it's just like I want Google to give me good shopping results. I like some of the ads that come through on Instagram. I've bought a lot of things that it's given me an ad for that I'd never heard of, and they might not be. They're not always local companies, but they might be smaller, independent companies that are making a product that's really good. They're focusing on like one or two things. Like it's just like peak design. Like Peak Design is just a cool company run by some dudes that are like us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in California, but like, they're photographers and videographers that are making bags and accessories for people like us. And they might cost a little bit more and they make less of them, but like, I dig working with somebody like that. You know, I get to talk to somebody personally when I need support.
Yeah, I should have brought it in today, but my new Boundary Supply backpack came in.
I know, and I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't even opened it yet, so I'm pretty pumped. But it's
Boundary. It's a lot of self-control. I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, well, my body kind of limited my transit the other day.
That's true.
So Boundary Supply is like a backpack company, and it arrives, and I'm working on the house with my dad, and I was like, hey, my backpack came in. He's like, oh, I didn't know you needed a backpack. I would have put a raffle in because they have a church raffle, and he's like, we have $400 backpack every year, but I had never put one in. If I knew you wanted one, I'd have thrown it in. And he was kind of joking about like the cost of backpacks. And he's like, oh, that's, very snarky. Why would you ever spend that much? And I was like, oh, well, this one kind of is a $350 backpack. And he about had his second heart anxiety attack or whatever right there on the spot.
My son.
Like, why would you ever he's just kind of questioning my logic about it.
My dad would have been like, that's it?
Yeah.
Is that all you can afford?
Yeah. Why not more? But it's like I didn't take the time to explain it because I don't know if he would have got it anyways, but it's like,
I get it.
I use my backpack all the time, every single day, and the comfort and the convenience of it like generally makes my day quicker. But also, there are cheaper variations of this backpack from other companies that would have done the same job. They're local in the sense that they're based out of Utah. They have like 6 employees that are in the main design and higher up roles of the company. And then they have, some employees under them. And it was like, this is kind of a boutique shop, like in a sense. It's like, I don't go buy clothes at a boutique shop because it doesn't interest me. But this is my equivalent of, this is... there's only so many backpack companies
and like it's handmade.
There's only so many backpack boutiques in the United States that you can shop from.
There's only so many of those backpacks probably. They're not like mass produced in a way where it's like
no, they only had 10 left at their Black Friday sale. So I was watching a live stream from the Brandon Talbot guy who did confirm that he would be happy to join the podcast sometime. Just call in.
Do you know I've never ran into anybody. I just thought about this with another Peak Design.
Yeah,
really.
I saw one the other day at a somewhere up in Indy. I think he was walking around with one, and that's it. That's the first one I've seen that wasn't you.
That's what I'm saying.
He was like a tech.
I bet if you go to California, there's tons of people with
I'm supporting their Indiana market solely.
Yeah.
So
they're like, we need Cole to buy more products.
You're like, Cole, you're the one of 2 customers we got there.
But the thing with it too is, you talk about the triangle of like time, quality, and cost. It's like Peak Design and Boundary Supply, these are companies that have high quality and a higher cost. Yeah. And like, I'm okay with paying that because to me, it's worth it. Like, you're supporting a local business in a sense. Like, this is Utah. Where's Peak Design from? Do you know?
They're Cali.
So it's like, you're supporting...
So many products come from there.
Most of the, like, it's not just designed by, a lot of times these are manufactured locally in many cases. Like, and it's like, to me, that is becoming increasingly valuable, and you hear a lot of boomers like, all the jobs are going to low cost countries, which is the technical name in industry for it. So it's like anywhere labor is cheaper, which at the time of recording this was like Mexico, India, and China. And it's like, but what are you doing to really help it? Like, genuinely. I don't know, I'm not saying boomer by like the actual demographic, but like anyone over the age of 18, what are you doing to actually help, quote unquote, bring jobs to the U.S.? Like, do you spend the extra $150 on a backpack? Do you spend like the extra $800 on a mattress so it's not in a box from overseas? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Are you buying the $15 backpack that you found at Walmart made by some kids with tiny hands?
Yeah.
So it's like genuinely, what do you do? And it's like, are you local farmers market? There's so many things, and it's just I didn't realize this was such a big deal to me all of a sudden, but it's like,
it is.
I was just passionate here.
That's
laying
funny.
On my couch.
All of a sudden, I made it my IKEA couch.
No, you always say IKEA.
I thought you said it was.
Nah, I mean, even then it'd be Swedish. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Swedes. No, it's
Yeah, where are
this
they
one's
sourcing their parts from?
This is probably made overseas. I guarantee it.
Was it Target?
No, it was like I always get them mixed up, but it's either J.C. Penney or Macy's. I think it was Macy's.
Oh yeah,
Good old Macy's purchase.
Yeah, but
They got Parade.
What are you doing to shop local? You buying TRIFLIX stuff? You should buy TRIFLIX stuff.
you should. And you know that's one of the really cool things. When you were talking about that, I was thinking about our shoot today. That a national, I think you said that international company. This isn't even their home state, but the fact that this is where they do manufacturing, they wanted to use somebody local. Yeah. And in comparison, I mean, we're small potatoes. This is a $100 million plus a year company. So it's like, but their culture here and the way that they run things, they wanted to do something local. And so we were able to do that. And they love the fact that we're 7 minutes down the street and that we can come in and it's like, you know, we understand the community. We're from it. We're here. We're in it. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool that it can also work in reverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're not gouging them on price. You know, we're being just as fair with them as we are with anybody else. And, you know, I think that's a big step as well. So I don't know. I think it's cool that it works in both ways. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing more of it. I'd love it. I mean, that's why I go to Coffee House 5. It's, you know, their product is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that was the first thing that sold me, but the fact that I can go in, like, I hadn't seen one of the baristas for like a while, and I went in and got a coffee, and he's like, I haven't seen you in a month or two. Yeah. I've been down and out, and he gave me his story, which was a very interesting story. He chopped off part of his finger in a lawnmower.
Oh my gosh.
which this kid is very funny, and he like pulled up his hand and like showed me, and I was like, dude, what happened?
So he has a missing finger?
So just the tip,
but
the nail's gone. Oh my gosh. And but still, it was just the fact that I came in, I had a conversation with people. These people live in my community, I live in theirs. Yeah. I use their product, they use our product. You know, the feeling. Yeah. You know, I'd rather be given the, you know, if my coffee's $8, which it's not with them, but you know, with Starbucks, right? It's like if I could give Starbucks $8, or I could give Michelle and Brian and their family $8, and then, you know, that money also trickles down the community. Like, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Which, I mean, it's the same with us. I mean, when you spend money with TRIFLIX, I mean, you're helping to pay
our bills,
yeah. take care of our families, yep. And then, you know, we then take that money and we reinvest it in the communities around us. So I mean, it's just I don't know, it's an awesome circle of life.
Yeah.
Which, you know, speaking of local theater, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I love local theater.
Me too. Which I know we have this is one of those things I'm just going to be like, I want to have this conversation anyways when she comes on the podcast, but one of the reasons why we advertised with Passion for Acting Theater Company is because
we have passion.
Well, we have passion, but it's also because one of our contract employees, Kat Baylor. Yeah. Obviously, she helps run this thing. Mm-hmm. So,
and my mom participates in it too.
Correct. Yep. They both do it together. So, yes.
Our moms.
But it's very. I just think it's really cool. And again, right. So it's like Coffee House 5 local. Passion for Acting Theater Company is local as well.
TRIFLIX local.
Yeah. Well, and so we're all trying to help support each other. So. Yes. I hope that when you guys hear these ads, you know, you'll think twice maybe about it as well and support some of these local companies.
Instead of that ad for Amazon that we're missing out on.
Yeah, the paying one.
Yeah, we're getting so many we're getting so many ads from big box corporations. No, we're not. I wouldn't feel good taking them.
Nope. But we'd probably do it.
Mainly because they don't have a passion for bringing excellent and entertaining live theater to their audiences.
But who does?
Like Passion for Acting Theater Company does.
Please tell me more.
They have the passion for bringing excellent and entertaining live theater.
You have to read that again.
I'm going to do it again. In Bartholomew County. Woohoo! Passion for Acting Theater Company. Created in 2018, performs dinner theater productions at the terrific and eclectic Willow Leaves of Hope on the Square in Hope, Indiana. Their first production, The Miracle Worker, was a huge success and received great reviews from audience members. Since then, the Passion for Acting Theater Company has performed 10 shows, ranging from comedies like The Kitchen Witches and The Odd Couple, to drama and suspense like the original murder mystery Angel Street, to classic children's literature like The Secret Garden and Anne of Green Gables. The next show will be Kalamazoo, a comedy about what happens when older folks try to get into the online dating scene. Kalamazoo will be performed at old people. They're just trying to get along with this new age stuff. Kalamazoo will be performed at the Willow Leaves of Hope in February, just in time for Valentine's Day date, or to laugh the winter blues away. Enjoy a delicious dinner and a great night of entertainment at Willow Leaves of Hope. Their phone number is 812-341-7251. Call now to make reservations for this Laugh Out Loud comedy.
Comedy.
Nope.
We're going.
We have
so we
some
still need
segments to come, don't we?
If we do. I normally here I was going to talk about Filmic Pro. I didn't know if you guys wanted to return back to AI at all and talk about some of the things that we've been dabbling in.
Did we miss anything that we wrote down we wanted to touch on?
One of the things I wanted to talk about was I have been trying to learn how to do the prompts and use Stable Diffusion. Which
you have been getting into that.
Stable Diffusion is an AI art generator. It generates art from text.
So we've talked about video. We talked about audio. Now photo.
If you want a similar,
my favorite.
If you want a similar or more kind of general understanding too of what Stable Diffusion is, we did a video on DALL-E 2, which is basically the same concept.
Yes.
You type in stuff and we have a lot of great examples, good explanations, how fun it can be.
We will do more of that.
So pause now and go watch the video that's in the description that we just said.
I have this dream. It's not a dream. I know it can be a reality. We just have to put together the pieces of technology, which we have most of it. Mm-hmm. So you can, one of the cool things, and I'll get back to the general use of this, but like one of the things you can do is you can train the model within this app called Stable Diffusion. Mm-hmm. Which we're actually using a user interface that has been generated by another developer. It's called Diffusion B. It's something that I downloaded, and they just keep iterating and putting in new functions, and it's based upon the model of Stable Diffusion. And people can pull a lot of different things in and make different models for Stable Diffusion itself. So there's been ones where they've trained more on like Disney characters and cartoons, and it helps to make things that look like this. So it depends on what you're doing, but you can train these models, and just like we did with the deepfakes, we can train a model on our faces.
Okay.
And then we can take that face and we can make fictional characters with our faces, cartoon characters, whatever it might be in these models. And a couple people have done this already, but I really want to do it for us just for fun's sake of being like, I want to be, it's an oil painting of Cole as an elf in the Lord of the Rings. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, man, like with muscles and a battle axe. Like that would be tight. Because you can tell it all these things and it'll generate an image, but it has to understand who Cole is and what Cole looks like and how to add his face in. Okay. So that's one of the things we've talked about doing, and we'll video all the process leading up to it. And I want to do more with this because I think it's on the cutting edge. Yeah. And I think it's going to be something that we'll end up using a lot in the future.
I want to take it and then put it over us and do EB synth.
Yes.
So we could take your generated images of us, and then we can perform physically and capture that on video, and then take your image and then basically track it onto the body of us
and animate it. And that's the thing. So it opens up a lot of creative ways to use this. Yeah. One of the things that we've talked about using it more in a general way is generating storyboards. So if somebody comes to us, they have an idea for a video, or maybe they want an idea for a video and they have a basic concept, we can actually go in and say, let's say it's I don't know, it's a commercial for a drug that helps with itchy eyes, and you're like, okay, and you're like, but the scene opens up to a field with a guy that's watching a sunset, and it's like, we can type these things in, it generates an image based on the text that we gave it, and now you can actually do negative prompting. So
prompting.
So you can tell it what you want, and then tell it the things to avoid.
Ooh.
That's new.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
You put all these parameters in, it makes an image, and then we go to the next scene. You can make another image for that, and we can storyboard all these things in real time, very quickly, and give the prospective client, a much more visual way of seeing their video being made.
So we recently watched a video from Joel Haver, who used collections from not EB Synth. He uses EB Synth. He kind of pioneered that in video.
Yes,
but he was using stuff from, I think, did we write it down? I really hope we did. It was DALL-E 2 and Midjourney.
Ah, yes.
And he used it to tell a whole story. He voice acted it with one of his actor friends. But one of the issues I have with it, not as bad, but like we're getting there, is that every single new render of like that was what he was like typing in, it wasn't continuous with like the previous one.
Yes.
So like the characters would look similar, but they might have had like a different color shirt on or a different type of shirt on. And it would be so cool to like give it like a base image and be like, take this character and like not just like the face or whatever, but like the entire thing and just put it in something else like that. That I really want to see that happening. I haven't seen Stable Diffusion. I really hope it gets to the point to where that could be the thing that really makes it shine.
Hey man, you could be the person to come up with the model. I'm just saying.
Just make the model.
Yeah,
I'm a modeler.
It's easy, man. You just gotta put some ones and zeros in a row.
Got tippy tappy on your keyboard.
A couple if then statements, you'll be good to
yeah.
go.
Oh yeah. Just
it's easy.
Just do some coding.
Yeah,
I'll code it up right now.
You want to do coding? I love coding.
You like coding? How much have you coded?
That does not look more comfortable, by the way.
It is much more comfortable.
You guys jack it off. It's probably what's doing it.
Tristan's having issues.
I think we might be losing him.
He hasn't been feeling good, so I gave him the option not to come on the podcast.
You kind of look like you're in a hospital bed right now.
Oh my gosh.
I think we might be getting close to 2 hours on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're getting...
Oh, shoot. Okay. Wow.
I just realized the time.
Nice. Okay.
I hope you have been enjoying our conversations. I think
we have been.
Time, quality, cost, and then there's a fourth one.
Stop it.
Fun.
The fourth wall.
The fourth one's fun. We like to have fun.
Fourth one is
that
fun.
one's given. You don't have to pick two.
Yeah, no, it's a pyramid.
Yeah,
that's the top one.
TRIFLIX is a pyramid company.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like that could be the missing one.
Fun.
That really brings the whole thing together. It's like if you're not having fun while doing all that, then like, what's the point?
I don't know about that. I'm kidding. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and
just
do
the money.
We're gonna go ahead and do our fun segment because we still got a couple things to get through here, and your poor commute to work is running its course.
Hopefully, you're in traffic and like just hitting all the red lights so you can listen to our conversation all the way through.
If you move that mic one more time, I swear.
Oh,
we're gonna mute you for the rest of the show.
Why are you moving around so much?
He has problems.
Very hot and very tired.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we'll probably post some more stuff soon about the AI art generator stuff.
Yeah.
We're playing with it. We're going to find ways to use it. Stay tuned. How about that? We'll talk more about it soon. Okay. So today we're going to do, unfortunately, the Tristan guesses movie plots, but I put this list together assuming that David had watched these as well, and he hasn't. He has a general knowledge of it.
Many of them have been like majorly spoiled for me because they didn't seem like movies I would care too much about.
There you go. So are you going to help guess? I'm only going to probably do two.
If we're only going to do two, I'm not going to help guess. I want to check it out.
Okay.
I'm opening it up. My eyes. All right.
Ready.
Which two are we doing?
I'm ready.
Let's do the first two.
Give it
All
to
right.
me.
Because I've already been. I was supposedly the feedback from last time was everything was a chick flick or a rom com. So I'm starting to see maybe a
trend.
I mean, I call BS, but whatever.
Share with us.
Here, let me get you pulled up on the. All right, here.
Share.
Okay.
Tell me your tale.
Okay, please move the mic
Closer?
less close, or turn him down.
Am I too
It'd be
hot?
better if it's farther away.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the same distance. but
Okay, so the first movie we're gonna do is The Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. It's a horror movie.
Okay.
There's a house
With a lamb.
and a family goes there to stay.
Okay, house family.
It's not their original house. They're here and it's new to them. And while they're there, murder. And it's next to a cornfield.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and there's a little lamb that comes out of the cornfield at night that does the murdering
Silently.
silently. And the only survivor is a child. That's it. That's the movie. Everyone dies.
Gotcha. I thought you said you had a base understanding of what this movie was about.
I have no idea. I think I was getting mixed up with the Red Rum movie. What's that movie?
I don't know.
What's the Red Rum? Is that?
I don't know what that is.
Red Rum? Oh, that's from The Shining.
Oh yeah, The Shining. I don't know this movie.
Okay. Obviously. So The Silence of the Lambs. There's a convicted cannibal serial killer.
Gosh.
And his name is Hannibal Lecter, and he's in prison. He's been in prison for 8 years.
Yeah.
So this FBI detective, she's actually a trainee. She is using his knowledge from serial killing because these other murders are very similar to try and track down this other guy, Buffalo Bill. And so most of the interactions are like happening between her and Hannibal and in his cage in federal prison. And he's like helping her to try to find this serial killer.
Is this a true story?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh.
But there's like some nefarious things happening because obviously he's not a great person. But
Cannibal Lecter.
it's good. It's good. Jodie Foster is
Did anyone ever call him that? I feel like that's a good nickname.
I know, right?
Cannibal Lecter.
It's based on a book.
It's a good movie. You should watch it. Seriously.
It sounds scary.
It is a little bit, but it's great. Like it's one of those things like you're like, suspenseful. And,
I have a rule.
yeah, do they find the guy, Buffalo Bill?
My rule is I don't watch movies that make me make me feel worse than when I start watching them.
It doesn't make you feel worse. It's suspense. It's different. Okay.
Suspense gives me tummy aches.
No, it's always. So, okay. Anyways, you were close. Sure, we'll give you that.
Eh.
Okay, so the second movie is Whiplash.
Was there a house with a family that had never been there? Or a cornfield? Okay, no. Whiplash?
Not that I'm aware of.
Whiplash, it's a racing movie. I already asked you this earlier. You said it wasn't, but I think you're throwing me off the trail. I think it's a racing movie, and it's like this guy's driving, and he goes real fast, and he's professional, and he gets in a wreck, and he gives up racing professionally because they said he'll never make it, and instead he starts driving for like a gang or something, like an illegal acts. Like he's the getaway driver because they said they basically he was awesome, and then everyone doubted him, and this is like his comeback, his way to show the world. But the end of it is he dies in a car crash due to whiplash.
Could you do
I know what you're gonna say.
Yes, that has nothing to do with racing.
A whiplash without racing?
Yeah.
If you replace the main, like the plot is
if
pretty
you actually
similar.
took his
get rid of racing.
advice where it's not about racing, what would it be?
Okay, I feel like that would be a really awesome movie. I think it might be like Baby Driver, but I don't know what that one's about, to be honest.
Also sounded like you somewhat described Ford versus Ferrari.
Did I?
A little bit. The dude
It's like
dies
the-
at the end.
No. I mean, like,
I haven't seen that movie.
he never-
You
You
haven't
haven't
seen it?
No.
he doesn't do like any illegal driving, and he
Spoiler alert.
wasn't used to be a professional. Like, I want like somebody that was a good guy that like turns bad guy for the sake of like reclaiming his dignity or pride or something.
Yeah, we'll get
But
rid of the racing thing.
Whiplash. Okay, so kind of a hint.
Yeah.
Like there's this is just like an open end. Is it a murder, like a horror
Okay, so,
thriller?
I'll help you out. It's music related.
Oh. Well, Whiplash music. Okay, there's obviously a play, and that this gentleman's at the play, but he is single because he's had a recent breakup, and he sees this beautiful
Wow.
performer, and it kind of catches his eye, but he wasn't quite sure, and then he like turns his head real quick, and that's like the whiplash. Like he's got like whoa rubbernecking kind of thing, and then the rest of the movie
Whoa.
is him
That booty.
overcoming his fears of rejection because it's another rom-com chick flick that Cole likes.
Wait, one more hint.
No.
One more hint.
No.
J.K. Simmons is in it.
Okay, so there's is this he's J.K. Simmons is the dude from Spider-Man.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, and he's a musician not Peter Parker. Oh gosh, it's some dude's getting yelled at about how to play the drums. And J.K. Simmons is like losing his time, just like yelling, like you gotta play the drums, you gotta play it like this, and you're really bad at playing drums.
Yeah, that's the movie.
There you go.
That's the movie.
I know that scene, but I had no idea what it was from.
Yeah, from this movie called Whiplash.
Oh, you were so off base.
Who was the second character for that?
Oh, I have no idea.
It's another famous
guy.
character getting yelled at. Who's the one getting yelled at for playing the drums?
Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here because it doesn't.
It was another
Oh,
famous
that was
boy.
2014.
It mentions Miles Teller.
Teller.
Well, you didn't. Did you see the new Top Gun?
That looks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's
No, it doesn't, dude.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of
Miles
stuff,
Teller.
man.
Oh, was he in the Guardians or whatever? That Marvel movie.
I don't know.
The one where he's like
He was in
the
Footloose, 2011.
Cause he got cut loose.
He was in Fantastic
Footloose.
Four.
what was that?
Off my foundation.
It was like Guardians. It was like the other one, the
Nah.
Marvel.
No, he's not in it.
What was
he's
that?
not in that.
You know
No.
who I'm talking about? The kid that could like talk to animals or
He
something.
was in Godfather.
You know that one?
The kid that can talk to
He
animals.
was in Godfather documentary.
Who was that? What's that Marvel movie that was
That's
like
an
real
awesome-
crap?
Awesome show.
The one with like the Titans and stuff eating planets.
Remember the Titans?
Yeah, that Marvel movie.
Yeah.
This segment's
really
made me
excelling
sad.
into more movies that I don't know. I actually watched this one. The name of it was dumb, and it was like part of the MCU, but it like had nothing to do with any of the other superhero movies.
What?
It was like the Guardians. They were like supposed to protect Earth until some monster came and ate it.
Not Sentinels. What was it? The Everlasters.
It was
the
great.
Everbeings.
It was a great movie.
The
Eternals.
Eternals. That's what it was.
Such a trash
He's not
movie.
in
Dude, let's make
He's
a-
not in Eternals.
Who's
He's
that
not?
kid? It was the young kid that like was like the main, I guess, protagonist of it, who was like, we gotta be nice to the humans. They're really cool.
Not him. I mean, I'm
No.
looking at the cast right now. I was like, it's not.
It-
Definitely not.
like I was looking at his cast list. He was not in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. See,
That's okay, buddy.
That's
You're
all right.
killing it. Killing
I
it.
guess I'm just
Yeah,
racist.
you just needed
all
two
these little white actors with
Should
dark
we give
hair.
him a
They
score?
look too
Like
similar.
how many hints does it actually take him to get to the right answer?
Just for all questions, not even movie related.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love when he just goes off the rails. He's just like,
that
this is
one-
what it sounds
The
like.
racing for Whiplash was so bad.
Dude,
It
that
was
sounds like
not-
a great movie.
I don't know.
I want to see
I
a
didn't
movie.
say it. I just meant like you were so off base.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
even close.
Oh, yeah.
Barry Keoghan was Druig. That's who I was thinking it
What
was.
is a druid?
That's the character's name.
In
Yeah,
Harry
man,
Potter?
this is definitely ringing a bell.
It was a crap movie. I don't blame you for forgetting it. Nobody even remembered the name. But
That's true.
Yeah,
I think we all
none of us knew.
that was a very
I didn't
forgettable
watch
movie.
it. I didn't watch it.
I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was like one of the worst Marvel throwaways they've had yet. It literally had no combination with the MCU.
Which is like so much of it seems like a throwaway.
So like they're named the Eternals, but they have like dreaded arch enemies that can actually kill them.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, they're Eternals.
Didn't they like? No, they were like commissioned by somebody else, right, to come in and like protect humanity.
The trailer just made it so stupid because like we were here the entire time.
I actually
and
kind
we
of
were told
remember
not
this.
to intervene,
Yeah.
even though literally half the universe was snapped away because it was the Earth's affairs.
We could not do anything about it.
It's like I don't want to watch this. This is like so clearly just like retconning.
Yeah, basically,
Like if we were seeing them throughout the entire Marvel universe.
It
Like they
makes
would just
sense.
like randomly show up like for only like 10 seconds, be like, who the heck was that? And then they made this movie, then it would have been cool.
But they didn't.
But they didn't. They just like, these guys existed the entire time.
They have this pile of comic books of movies they haven't made yet. They throw it in the air and the one landed and Feige was like, that one.
Well, they did at Doctor Strange. Nobody knew who Doctor Strange was, I'm pretty sure, until they made this movie.
For
And
sure.
they made him awesome.
yeah.
Well, it's like, what was the other one? Moon Knight?
Moon Knight.
I don't know who the heck that was.
There were some memes about him. So that one's more like a cult thing, cult classic.
It was weird though.
I was a little concerned the first time I saw it. You know,
What?
it was like a guy
He was a guy
catching bad guys with a
Yeah.
white pointy hood, and I was just like, "Whoa, Marvel!"
Whoa!
And then I watched it, and I was like, "Hey, it's pretty good." I watched like one episode.
Oh my
You only watched
god.
one episode?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Give us a synopsis of Moon Knight.
Okay. So actually, at the end of Eternals, I thought that
You saw
storyline.
Eternals too.
Yeah, I thought the timelines were connected. So do you remember at the end of Eternals, whenever like the boyfriend has like a magic sword and he is like supposed to be some
Yes.
magic dude? I thought that story was connecting with Moon Knight or
I
whatever.
thought so too, but they're two different people.
Yeah, again, I guess I'm racist because the two white dudes with curly hair, I thought they were going to be the same actor.
Ooh.
I was really wrong.
I don't think that
Moon Knight? Moon Knight's
I
not
was
a
like,
white guy?
no.
All right, you want my synopsis? Moon Knight, it's about a white guy.
Oh my God.
With curly hair that he's got some sort of like a magical artifact or something that makes him go in and out of Inception state.
Inception State.
Oscar Isaac is a Guatemalan.
Thank you. I was like,
Where's Guatemala?
You're not serious, are you?
Is that in South America, I'm guessing? I really don't know.
Is this Mexico?
Mexico's
I'm
not
looking
a
it up.
continent. That's North
it doesn't
America.
sound-
Central America.
Central
So
America.
Central
yeah,
America.
you were closer with Mexico as a continent. is Guatemala
I
in
wasn't
Mexico?
looking for a continent. Thank you very much.
Guatemala is a country. It wouldn't be in
Africa is a
Mexico.
continent. That tells you nothing.
Well, I
Yeah.
said it's South America. That
And
was
then
the.
it's also like a continent.
Well, North America has Mexico in it.
See, like top and bottom of South America are completely different.
I didn't know we were naming continents. That's
I did
all I'm
not.
saying.
I'm in continent.
Whoa, you know. I feel like this podcast
Hey, you know
is
how
also
you know how you could find your way with an AirTag.
yeah. How do we
so
find our
lost.
way back
How-
on track?
How do I find my way to the correct actors? Can I use an AirTag?
No.
Oh,
Well, maybe you could
I-
plant your AirTag on that person.
I own AirTags, but for those who don't, what are they?
Good job, buddy. That was our Tuesday tip this week. If you haven't seen it, go check it out because Cole, myself, that's weird.
Whoa. That is weird.
I am in Memoji form in the video.
You are.
I am for a portion of it. Yes.
Ooh.
My little face pops up and I'm not talking. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I figured, it was an Apple themed video, so let's do it.
Sure.
So, an AirTag is essentially a small. It's a little bit bigger than a quarter.
Oh yeah, it's
Little round device that it can do GPS tracking. So, put it on your. It's like a tile tracker. If you guys have heard of that. It's just Apple's version, but you can put it in your wallet or put it on a keychain for your keys or put it in a bag. So like I use it to track my backpack. just in case it's got important stuff in it. It plays little noises so you can find stuff. You use your iPhone and it can track it if it's within 33
it tells you,
feet.
like, the direction to go.
But if I were to leave my bag on set somewhere and I didn't know where it was, I couldn't find it, I can actually put that AirTag in lost mode, and it uses the network of other iPhones. So if somebody else is to pass that with an iPhone, or if there's other iPhones around it, it can use that network to then triangulate where your item is and give you an idea of where it is, so you can track it down. And if somebody else finds it, they can actually... It uses NFC, so a little tap, kind of like the tap to pay. If you tap it, it'll give your information. So I can put in like my address and my phone number, my email, so that when you find my item, you can let me know.
Yeah.
And I can actually reacquire this item.
Yeah. And it works on that Find My network. So if you you set it as lost. So like you don't know where you put your keys. Like I have one on my keys and one on my wallet. And so if it's in lost mode and somebody else has an iPhone that's nearby and walks by it, it'll tell them, hey, there's a lost item nearby. And like it'll tell them, like, guide them how to steal it, how to pick it up. And it'll also be updating its location so you will know where it is.
Yes.
But
and I'm assuming it'll probably tell you too if it's found.
Yeah.
Google's talking
our
right now.
Google Assistant's getting jealous. We're not.
I know, right? We're
Google.
talking about Apple, and it's like,
and how great Apple is. Not, but it's a really great system. I haven't had to use it, but it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, no, it's very nice to have, just as a peace of mind. The AirTag itself costs about $30. The only kind of slap in the face from Apple is that you get this AirTag, and it's this little, big coin looking device, and it's like you have to buy all of the mounting, or if you wanted to put it on your key ring, you have to buy another piece of product from them. It's like a little leather sleeve you put it in, then you can put it on your keychain.
There's not even a little loopy loop hole that you could feed like a string through that to attach it to something. You have to put it inside a mount. So
if you're not putting it in a pocket or a wallet or something along those lines, you have to buy another accessory, which money grab, but the product works very well. It's something, it is iPhone specific.
Yes. You have to have an iPhone to set it up and use it.
You can. I was told that you can, if you use the NFC, like the tap function on it, to see the person's information. Like if you found one in a purse or something, you can use the NFC to then see the information of the person from the AirTag itself on an Android phone.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's the only functionality you get there. So we
have to test it out.
Yeah. So check out the video if you guys are interested. That would be a great Christmas present. You can also get those engraved.
It'd be a great Christmas present to us if you watch the video.
Yeah, we have a PO box.
Yeah, we would need some more AirTags for all of our bags.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool product. It's something fun. So we figured we'd tell you guys about it. So we need an affiliate link.
We do.
For Apple. That's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out, chilling with us. If you made it through the whole podcast, leave us a comment. We'd love to know if you stuck around to the end. I don't care if you did it in stages. I do that all the time with long podcasts, but hopefully this was good. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, you were entertained to a certain degree.
I want to say hi to my nephew, Jojo. Hey, Jojo. I know you probably can hear me. I know that Derek watches me on the TV a lot.
Bugle boy.
Let's go.
Number one fan.
Number one.
Or don't comment. It can be our little secret.
No, comment.
Don't.
We want to hear from you.
You don't get that.
We a little announcement coming with this episode. We are going to be releasing more content throughout the week for the podcast. There's going to be more vertical content that's going to go to YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube is going to collect all of it now. So
the shorts.
Have
some shorts.
Yep. So anything that you see on the Instagram will now also be on our YouTube channel. So it'll all be in nice packaged one place. We've been working on making sure everything looks good and cohesive on the side of thumbnails and graphics. So we put a lot of time and effort into this. So go check everything out. We will be releasing something almost every day throughout the week that's podcast related on all podcast channels. So go check it out. TRIFLIX Cast. Feel free to also check out our main Instagram account, which is TRIFLIX LLC. We're posting a lot there as well, and you can see kind of what we're up to on a day-to-day basis. We've got some cool videos coming out soon where hopefully before the end of the year, you guys will get to see the individual Meet the Team videos, so you'll get to find out more about us and more about the team at TRIFLIX, which is going to be really fun. We actually have recorded those this week, so
wow,
it's going to be really awesome. So lots of fun stuff, getting ready to wrap up the year. Next year we're going to have a bunch more guests on. We're already working on this, so lots of exciting stuff to come. Tell your family, tell your friends to tell their friends. Go subscribe, go check us out. You can listen to us on all major podcast platforms and watch the video on YouTube and Facebook.
Wow.
I love Steve Harvey.